right, y'all. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom to the worldwide family. Y'all know how we get down. It looks like it's only Israel up in here. As I should say, more conscious members. Y'all, we're going to turn toward holy. All right, y'all. Shabbat shalom. We're going to turn toward holy Jerusalem, y'all, where our help cometh from. Men ought to uncover, women ought to cover when praying or prophesying within the assembly, y'all. We're going to lift our hands up high as 1 Kings 8th chapter, 1 Tim chapter 2, verse 8. Tell us to lift our hands up high, y'all. Want the Most High to look down on us on this feast day. Shabbat shalom, family.
Shabbat shalom. All right, family, let me get this opening prayer with the Most High's permission. And it's in the name of his only begotten Son, our uncrowned King, our Lord and Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach. But we know him around these parts as Jesus the Christ, y'all. Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 111th chapter, it reads, Praise ye the Most High. I will praise Yahweh with my whole heart. In the assembly of the upright, and in the congregation. The works of the Most High are great, sought out of all them that have pleasure therein. His work is honorable and glorious, and his righteousness endured forever. He hath made his wonderful works to be remembered. Yahweh is gracious and full of compassion. He hath given meat unto them that fear him. He will ever be mindful of his covenants. He hath shown his people the power of his works, that he may give them the heritage of the heathen. The works of his hands are verity and judgment. All his commandments are sure. They stand fast forever and ever, and are done in truth and uprightness. He sent redemption unto his people. He hath commanded his covenant forever. Holy and reverend is his name.
Yes, sir.
The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom.
Yes.
A good understanding of all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever. Hallelujah!
Yeah, I'd like to ring it up in there. They can hear it all outside.
They need to hear it.
Yes, sir. They need to. Shabbat shalom to all our family, y'all. Y'all know how we get down, y'all. If it's anything on your heart, mind, or soul. If not, y'all, we're going to pick right back up with part 2 of the lesson last week. We gave our little homework, but after kind of looking it over, it's a whole lot to digest between that 72nd chapter of Enoch and the 80th chapter. There's a lot of meat in there, so don't want to leave a lot of different opinions out there. So y'all, we'll try to get on one accord and one spirit and see if we can get some understanding from our brother Enoch on how not to be dismayed at the signs of heaven, y'all, because there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things going on down here on earth, prophecy-wise, that we need to stay focused on. Got to get our mind from outer space. Ain't nothing from out there, no chemical compounds, no rubbing or no ointments, none of that gonna help you deal with what's happening right now, and that's Civil War .2 taking place here in America. Y'all, when I ain't never seen it, y'all, I read about it. Where the heathen are turning on the heathen about the Israelites. Because it's the north and the south back at it again, ain't it?
All over again.
I'm talking about who left the door open at the Congress building. Who left the door open?
They got a video of somebody opening.
Y'all, look here, y'all. So y'all, we understand a lot of these things, y'all, are prophecy. Y'all, if you count years, then you got to also count the prophecy in the book of Daniel that matches these events up. But y'all, if y'all ever wondered what it kept meaning when it kept saying Pharaoh's heart was hardened, the Lord hardens Pharaoh's heart, it wasn't the Lord just putting a vice on it and locking it down so he couldn't do right, then how can he be judged?
Right.
You know, you were made to do that. If anything, if his heart was hard and he was made by the Lord, then he should get a free pass in because he obeyed, didn't it?
Right.
But hardening of the heart is like he told Pharaoh in Exodus 7th chapter. He told Moses, he said, I'm gonna make you a god to Pharaoh. And that's what's gonna harden his heart because everybody gonna be screaming Moses. Just like they were screaming David, and King Saul was there, he couldn't take that. So, and the miracles that Moses was allowed to perform by the Most High, you know, made him seem as a god because Pharaoh didn't have that power.
Exactly.
So, in like manner, Trump feels like he's a god. And his advisors are whispering in his ears, man, I know you ain't gonna take this, is you?
Right, not you.
Not you. And then they gonna call you Private Bone Spurs again. Now he talked about everybody in the Air Force and I don't like cowards, you got captured, and then he didn't even go because he said he had bone spurs. And had his daddy write a letter for him. Now a corporal, a Private Bone Spurs is back at it again. Tomorrow, and I'm gonna march down there with you. No, you at a party where the song Gloria is being played at a high level. You up in there doing that one move he do now, the YMCA move, two to the left, two to the right, but feet like they stuck in quicksand.
Yeah.
No, you didn't march down there with them.
No.
But heavy fines gonna be laid out. Once again, the Hebrew one that told us this white folks business, stay away from down there. But if you look at the top 10 on the Daily Mail, they're looking for a front center, number one, a Hebrew.
No doubt.
He in the number one slot.
Coon ass nigga.
Boy, I don't know what he was, but he must have thought it was gonna be like the looting in the ghetto.
Right.
Like he gonna be coming out there with a statue of Abraham Lincoln and on it, you know. Yeah, look here, grab the Declaration of Independence and have it down at Joe's Pawn Shop. Look here, man, you can see them just up in there like they up in the mall, looking for something to grab and take and pawn. Y'all, we in them days, y'all, we're watching it, and it may get uglier than this, y'all, because they're not taking, man. I mean, the one got shot in the chest. You got people saying, all that stage. Well, let's see if all you have to do is go down to the morgue and say they ain't got no body in there, no white woman got shot in the chest by Secret Service. But check this out, y'all, we're gonna move on. We know it's somebody that's on the inside that did whatever they do because they talked to an ex-Capitol Police, well, retired, I should say. He said he was there when Farrakhan came. He said they was about to get clock out. And word came up that Farrakhan was there with 3 of his bodyguards about a block away from the Capitol. He said they put the Capitol on lock. They had to stay over, couldn't leave, and they put the snipers on the roof. This for 4 people. You locking down for 4 people, and here you already got word that 10,000 heading your way. Angry 10,000.
Right.
Boy, they done put up a noose. Did you see that for Mike Pence?
No, I ain't see the news.
Oh man, they had a gallows hanging up, man. They hollering, they listening to the voice. Where you at, Pence? And Trump ain't asked once, where my vice president? Hold on now, wait a minute. This the vice president in there. And you let him walk through like that? Some heads got to roll, y'all.
But now, shouldn't he be in trouble for inciting a riot and
all of that, man.
conspiracy to commit murder? Because a murder happened, and you know, all of that.
They come for Pence, they come for Nancy Pelosi. But this morning, all of them ones, they running their Facebook. Ain't no need trying to scrub it.
Right.
They got you. They coming for you. They putting handcuffs on them as we speak. And Fed charges. Boy, do you know what else they did? Can you imagine what the only understanding you can get of what type of individual will pull his pants down and doo-doo while a mob is coming through?
Right.
Drop feces on the floor and urinate over everything, and then they track through it with their boots. I'm talking about, but a mob is coming through and you got your britches pulled down, let loose,
right.
a load. Yeah, they desecrated the Capitol.
They said it was spread on the walls.
And then spread it on the wall, and
Who picked it up though?
Boy, look here.
You know what I mean?
Boy, look here. That's a mob. That's why it tells us don't be quick to run to a mob or ambulance chasing. Y'all, they did some horrible things up in there, and they blaming Chump for it. They want his head. But y'all, we ain't gonna tell you long. Anybody got any questions or concern? Anything before we get back into the lesson, into the homework part, so that we get some understanding on this celestial realm, y'all. But I want to get right back into. Put my glasses back in there.
But if nobody ever, or if some of these people say they've never witnessed white privilege, that was it all day.
Yes, sir.
You dig? It wasn't one of them shot down. One of them was shot down, but if that was some brown and black faces, and it'd have been a massacre.
Yeah, look, talk about not only that, but when Black Lives Matter was there, they had the National Guard up there. You would have thought the Russians had invaded. And they didn't even let Black Lives Matter up on the steps. Let alone come out of coup. Right. Boy, y'all, it'd have been a bloodbath. They still be mopping up blood. Yep. But y'all, they let them shake the gates, and you got the vice president up in here, and the commander-in-chief ain't saying, look, y'all get on the double down there. Get some helicopters up in the air. We need troops there now. Let them, come down on a rope like the Marines and Navy SEAL. We got to show a strength of force. My vice president up in there. Up in that building. Boy, he up in that feet on desk eating Nancy Pelosi's lunch. Yeah. Sipping on her tea and crumpets. Yeah. Man, what? Boy.
Looked like he had stepped in that stuff.
Boy, look here. It may have been him the way the bottom of them shoes was looking. So y'all know how we get down, y'all. Everything after the order of Melchizedek, Yeshua HaMashiach, locally known as Jesus the Christ, as the high priest of that order and priesthood. What's that, bro? Oh, yeah, Zed, get a little bit off on me.
Where we starting out at?
We're going to go ahead and pick it right back up in the homework area, because we need to know why we are in the celestial realm, and that's just, y'all, because you're seeing things like Mars and Jupiter having crossed paths in so many years, 800 years. So y'all, what we want to do is get the understanding that stars are where they at, the sun and the moon is where it's at. But we got to deal with these so-called 7 planets. So Enoch visited them, and how far they are away from us, it lets us know ain't no need us even being concerned about what's going on in outer space. I saw New Jerusalem doing what? Coming down. Coming down. I mean, so what are we looking for out there? You can't breathe out there. You can't live out there. The only way you can do it is get translated and have Enoch's skin get translated to the skin of angels. Other than that, you're going to be here, dealing with right here. The meat you'll inherit what?
The earth.
Okay, then didn't say Mars, did it?
No.
So y'all, we're gonna pick it right back up. What you got out there, too bad? Sis, how you feeling over there? A little chilly over there because I put that other one on the other side. You good? Okay.
Brother or sister in the chat has a question basically asking, can you explain the arm of God? That's the perfect name.
The who?
The arm of God is the name of the individual. They're asking, can you explain the kinsman's redeemer?
The who?
The kinsman's redeemer, I'm sorry.
The kinsman redeemer?
Yeah.
What, that law? Is that concerning like Ruth and Boaz? Is that who continues to gain a blessing if one die and then the blessing is passed on? And then if that family's next on, then it go to a brother and then his children, but that blessing will never leave the kinsman. Christ is our redeemer though. If that's what they ask, when you get down to the who's our redeemer, it's the Messiah. That's what he's called, the holy redeemer, ain't it? The mighty redeemer.
They said yes. What you just explained, they said yes.
Yes.
Asked what they wanted to know about the kinsman's redeemer, and what you just explained, they just
right.
said yes.
It's like Job said it in Job 19:25. He said, "For I know my redeemer liveth, and he standeth on the earth in the latter days." The disciples said it. We got Zechariah 14 chapter talks about the mighty redeemer or the second comer. That's the only redeemer that's through the bloodline that the kinship fall on, who was prophesied in Genesis 49, Jacob was given that until Shiloh come. You know, so we know Psalm 110, Hebrews 7 chapter is speaking of the mighty Redeemer, the mighty Redeemer. Not nobody gassing up a couple yellow buses and painted them white and say that's him coming in the clouds like Hewlin Mitchell fooled a bunch of people.
Right.
None of that foolishness. Yo, we got nuclear warheads in the hands of communist nations, rogue nations. That's why the Messiah said, I come quickly. Y'all look, the ark saved them from it was flood proof. Titanic didn't have nothing on the ark, and men were saved. So the only thing that's gonna save us out of this calamity that we face, because it's gonna be hit with fire, is chariots of the Most High. So y'all, and that's gonna be in this realm when it happens. When you see them, y'all, they're not UFOs. What they're putting out is unidentifiable. Most High put out IFOs, identifiable flying objects. He described what they look like. It's a wheel inside a wheel. These are the creatures who's driving it. This is what the pilot looked like. If y'all remember Independence Day, they did a perfect example of what Exodus 19, Exodus 14 is talking about, and the chariots of the Most High. And the driver that Will so-called punched in the face and drug back to the base, you look at what that beast looked like and read in Ezekiel what it says the ones driving look like. They know exactly what it looked like. They got calves' feet just like he pulled out of there. They're reading these writings and putting it in, but they want you to think they're aliens. Mm-hmm. And that this is another world finna take over this world. Yes, it's another government and administration finna take over, but it's one y'all been knowing. Mm-hmm. It's been around on this earth for the longest. Adam got the same thing we're talking about, because we're talking about returning back to the Garden of Eden, where righteousness, all rivers are spring forth from Jerusalem, watering all nations with this righteousness. So they got any more questions too, By? You see any more out there?
No, I didn't see any.
Okay, so y'all, let's bag it up once again to Deuteronomy 4:19 and Deuteronomy 18. We just want to get back on what we're not supposed to be doing, y'all, and that's worshiping the sun or the moon, stars or planets, even worshiping individuals, naming them after a planet. It ain't to be found in these scriptures, y'all. That's what got us through out of Jerusalem. Contrary to belief of other people, to it was a name we said, well, the name was called worshiping planets, moon and stars. Now, whatever title you want to put on that, that's what we was doing that got us thrown out of Jerusalem. Instructions of another God of worship. Don't never let nobody fool you in talking about, because you see something in the Bible, that means it's good to play with it. What the witch tell Saul? We've been run up out of here, didn't she? Mm-hmm. Just saying our practices ain't allowed. Mm-hmm. That's all we saying, y'all, because you see it, you have to see if it's allowed. Or is it in there for being disallowed? Don't come near it. It's an abomination.
So you going to Deuteronomy?
Yeah, 4:19.
Okay.
We're going to pick it back up, y'all. We're going to pick up on our homework to get some clarity. Hope everybody got a chance to review. Go ahead, bro.
We're going to be reading in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, and we'll start our reading in verse 19. Let's get some understanding, family.
Yes, sir.
Unless thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun, and the moon, and the stars, even all the host of heaven.
Even all of what?
The host of heaven.
See, y'all, so when it lists the stars, moon, and the sun, y'all, we know them, but then when it talks about the host of heaven, y'all, that's talking about the entire events that's happening within this universe, created by the creator of the universe. Y'all, there's things called, there's greater lights that move and signal the birth. We want to hit a little bit of that today too, to understand we're not talking about stargazing. And you ain't gonna never see two planets line up and then give you the specific date of what about to take place. No, them conjurers and wise men knew that something must be taking place. We need to check the records. What's supposed to go down around this time of the year? What you got there, 2x?
So far, so good.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
Shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Most High thy Elohim hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven.
Under the what heaven?
The whole heaven.
See, he said divided unto all nations, not just Israel. Everybody get down. I don't care who you are. Once you start that sun and moon worship, we're going to have trouble.
Right.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 20. But the Most High hath taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance.
A people of what?
Of inheritance, as ye are this day.
As ye are this day. So we're going to go to Deuteronomy 18. We're going to read all that. We just want to refresh ourselves and get back into what is an abomination. So right there, we just saw we are an inheritance of the Most High. Whoever inherited something ain't worth a quarter. How you gonna inherit a penny with a hole in it? Something they read in the wheel.
Right.
And to Luther, 3 pennies with holes in them. What can Luther do with that?
Make a necklace.
That's about it.
That's about it.
Yes, sir.
Or a necklace and a matching bracelet.
Right. Go ahead, bro.
You want to start at
Deuteronomy, we're gonna start
18?
about 18, and we're gonna start about 9.
Okay. That's what I got too. 18, 9. All right, in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18 and verse 9. Everybody there? All right. When thou art come into the land which the Most High thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abomination of those nations.
What did he call them? A what?
The abomination of those nations.
Abomination, all of the felonies, shalom, bro. All of the felonies that's going down against my law in those nations. Look, those nations may not look at it as an abomination. That's why they may be doing it, but the Most High say, I'll put my rule. You need to holler at me? Okay, hold on. Go ahead, keep reading that, bro.
Verse 10. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch. Verse 11. Or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination.
Anybody that drives the Winnebago is you must get it off the corner because it may get hit. So, bro, he'll show you where you need to put it at. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just give him my address. He can drop that off at my house. Yeah, I was looking at that on the way in there.
Make sure it's staying out watching you. Yeah. Go ahead, bro. Where you at?
I'm gonna back it up to 10 again.
Okay.
That's a nice Winnebago too.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
Verse 10. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination.
Divination, playing with Ouija boards and all of those things. Go ahead.
Or an observer of time.
Your horoscope today, observer of times. What does this day mean? What does that day mean? Go ahead.
Or an enchanter.
An enchanter. I don't care how he's chanting. That's what a chanter is. If you're chanting for Buddha, or if you tricking Israelites trying to say we can chant the letters. You say Alif. You can hum all you want to. But if you a sinner, you a sinner. All the humming in the world ain't gonna take away sin.
Not at all.
Because it's commandment keeping that you have to do, not commandment breaking. Enchantment is what it is. It ain't never been found to enchant or chant the alphabet or hum the alphabet. He said we sing songs. David wrote the song. Do you looking at Psalm? These to say this is a song of David. Psalm 83 is a song, or Psalm 23 is a song of David. Do you see anything in about hum and now hum?
No. No.
He say Selah off of what he just explained about the law. Selah means meditate on that, on the law. Now I don't know hum and the letters. You feel that? I felt something in. Oh, I know what it was. I'm still wearing a pager. That was it buzzing on my side. I'm old school. Go ahead, bro.
Or a witch.
Or a what?
A witch.
So we know what a witch is. All y'all have to do is how to spot a witch. Google these things. What you scared of? How to spot a witch or a warlock and see its practices. And see if you see those practices in the Bible. Y'all say in the latter days, craft shall do what? Prosper. That means it's going to grow and grow. It's going to seem like it's a good thing because at the rate it's growing. But never ever will you hearing those instructions, stop sinning. It technically say, look, we got a building program that can build and make you, what is it, something when you can't be affected by something, immune to sin or the punishment of sin. Just eat this, put this under your pillow, do that. That'll stop sin, you being judged by sin. Don't you be fooled?
Right.
What you got, bro?
I brought me some help outside.
Okay, yeah.
I yeah, listen to the question too. Scroll back up to it. Jericho M says, I provide some Ecclesiastes to elaborate on Rahab in the book of Job.
Yeah, that's where we're going. That's what we've been on, Rahab. That's what we're talking about is those planets, or what was called 7 larger stars that move. That you'll see a lot of people been naming. They try to name. We're gonna get back into some Acts, and you'll see where they try to name Paul after one of these 7 big stars, or what we call planets. So y'all, we're gonna cover all that day. Good question, bro. We just have to be on the same thing. Make sure you go back and look at last week's class at the beginning of that, because this is part 2, the homework part. Okay, so where we at in that, bro, on that Deuteronomy 18?
Verse 11. Or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirit.
A consulter of familiar spirit. A charmer is like snake charming that they have over there in India. They mesmerize in that snake. They'll do the same thing to you with a flute. Or one of them ringing bowls. Ring, and that vibration will have you spaced out in a sunken place. Then the Kardashians will have a hold of you.
Uh-oh. I heard she's single again.
Boy. Uh-oh. Boy, look here. That's what we're talking about. A familiar spirit is what Whoopi Goldberg was conjuring up in that movie Ghost. Go ahead, or what?
Or a wizard.
A wizard is a male witch. Whatever practice he used, they say usually the most common way to identify them, they're an opportunist. Like Simon the sorcerer, looking and saw the Holy Spirit, but he like, man, these card tricks ain't got nothing on that.
Right.
Man, they making blind people see. I need some of that so they can see these card tricks I'm pulling.
Shalom,
Master. So y'all, that's what we're talking about. Craft is going to prosper because the internet is opening up and it's putting things out on the internet that's been hidden in libraries under the Vatican for years. All that stuff is available now, and people is getting itchy ears about it now. They want to play with it to see if it works, because you cannot control the Holy Spirit. That's the problem. So since the Holy Spirit ain't going to let you dictate it, because hell, you playing rough with Satan toys. Bro, you put that in a good spot? Yeah. Okay, all right. Go ahead.
Verse 12. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Most High.
Right.
And because of these abominations, Yahweh thy power doth drive them out from before thee.
Right.
Thou shalt be perfect with the Most High thy Elohim.
We're going to go down to verse 14.
For these nations which thou shalt possess hearkened unto observers of time.
They hearken unto who?
Observers of time.
See, and that's no matter how you're looking at it from numerology, whatever you're doing, and you're saying, I'm an observer of time, I just watch the skies.
Right.
No, he said, you cannot hearken unto them. I haven't given none of them control or power to know when I'm going to make my move. Especially for you children of Israel, y'all already spoil y'all wait till the last minute to get straight. Go ahead, bro.
And unto diviners.
And unto who?
Diviners.
I can tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. You can't, the Messiah say, look, y'all see the sun is glowing red and y'all can tell, well, maybe it's a little, you know, rain coming in the forecast, but y'all can't tell when the Son of Man going to make his second coming. And you can't get ready. Why y'all can't tell that? That's what he keep asking. He said, man, I don't care nothing about the weather. I can tell the weather to start right now and then do what I tell it. Not interested in that. What I'm interested in is going to be a judgment day. Y'all ready or not? Let's read some more.
But as for thee, the Most High thy power hath not suffered thee so to do.
See, the Most High ain't suffered us to do none of them things we just read from verse 9 now. If somebody tell you, well, that's in the Bible, it may be in the Bible as a what? An
Abomination.
Abomination, yeah, it may be in there. You got a lot of things that's right around in this Bible that tell you don't mess with the devil in here. Christmas tree in here, ain't it? Why y'all stand away from that? It's in the Bible. So y'all, we just wanted to get set up again in the law of what we're not to be doing so you don't get hit up and see if somebody try to run that past you. You take them right back to it and say, hey, that's an abomination, ain't it? Where is the instructions in the Bible or any of the books of the Bible? They can't tell you. Y'all ain't no need to play around. Y'all heading back out, mister? Okay, all right. So let's get right back to it. I want to get right into 2 Kings chapter 23, just where it used the word planet, because we understand the sun, moon, stars. But it's these other 7 big stars that been sending signs and warning the entire world that a supernatural event gonna happen. And the only reason that is, y'all, is because the Most High is a merciful God. He has to at least say, I at least gave you a chance, I warned you. That's what the 7 trumpets are. That's like the tornado side.
Right.
He said, but I at least gonna warn you when the event comes, so you can't even wait. It's no excuses without excuse.
Yeah, but if you don't know what those trumps mean when you hear them.
You right. Boy, it's like you a barbarian, ain't you?
Right.
What was that? I'm not speaking. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, somebody needs to straighten it out, don't they?
Yeah.
Shalom, Imam.
Shabbat shalom, Imam.
Time for some action.
Right,
Yeah.
no doubt, boy.
Where we at, y'all? 2 Kings chapter 23. Y'all, we're going to get right back, and bro wanted to say about Rahab, so we're going to make sure we hit that again, because the Most High say he hit it and he destroyed that. And y'all, we want to pick up on Job 40th chapter also, because we went over what leviathan was and who's compared to him. The most dreadful sea monster created. Lucifer is compared to him. It says he's the beast of the children of pride. It ain't no wonder he's called a serpent and a dragon.
Right.
But Behemoth has a different understanding. But y'all, they're not actually these type of animals, is just comparing power to them, so that we as visual people can see something and say, okay, his power is equal to that. Like Samson, it said, had the strength of how many men? 100 men. And you think about that. If Mike Tyson was driving nose bones up into the scalp, you can imagine what somebody with 10 times, they say a gorilla has 10 times the strength of a human being. You think about it, on your best day, your best benching day, a gorilla can do that with like this.
So you said Mike Tyson should fight a gorilla?
No, I'm saying that would be like Mike Tyson fighting Pee Wee Herman. That's what that contest would be like. Go ahead, bro. Where we at? We're going to 2 Kings chapter 23. Start at verse 1. We're going to skip down on y'all. We ain't going to rehash that because we did go over that, but we just want to get right to the point where it does use the word planet.
2 Kings chapter 23 verse 1. And the king sent, and they gathered unto him all the elders of Judah and of Jerusalem. And the king went up unto the house of the Elohim, and all the men of Judah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with him, and the priests, and the prophets, and all the people, both small and great. And he read in their ears all the words of the book of the covenant, which was found in the house of the Elohim. And the king stood by a pillar and made a covenant before the Most High to walk after the Elohim and keep his commandments and his testimonies and his statutes with all their heart and all their soul.
That's right.
To perform the words of this covenant that were written in this book. And all the people stood to the covenant. And the king commanded Hilkiah, the high priest, and the priest of the second order, and the keepers of the door, to bring forth out of the temple of the Elohim all the vessels that were made for Baal.
Get rid of all that stuff.
And for the grove, and for all the host of heaven. And he burned them without Jerusalem, in the fields of Kidron, and carried the ashes of them unto Bethel. And he put down the idolatrous priests, whom the king of Judah had ordained to burn incense in the high places.
See, and not only that, but burning incense, y'all, you gotta be careful when you burn incense. You can't do it with no instructions of no other God. I'm not talking about you just can't burn like we burn in here, but that's frankincense. But I'm just talking about in your home, you want to just alter the change something. But if any other instructions come with that, rub some beads, throw some salt over your shoulder, and then burn these incense, that's burning strange fire. Go ahead, bro, and chant.
Burn incense in the high places in the cities of Judah, and in the places around about Jerusalem. Them also that burn incenses to Baal, to the sun, and to the moon.
And to the what?
And to the moon.
Y'all see, you can burn incense to the moon. There's moon worship that includes burning incense. Y'all ain't nothing wrong with asking nobody, wait a minute, I see this and I see this. This don't look like the instruction that the high priest of Israel was given about burning incense. Go ahead.
And to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the hosts.
And to the
heaven,
what?
The planets.
See, and that's the word I want to get to. See, it said, and the planets. Read that verse again. Start that one over.
Verse 5. And he put down the idolatrous priests, whom the kings of Judah had ordained to burn incense in the high places, in the cities of Judah, and in the places round about Jerusalem. Them also that burn incense to Baal, to the sun, and to the moon, and to the planets.
And to the planets, that's an S on the end there, that makes that plural, don't it? Go ahead, and to the who?
And to all the host of heaven.
So y'all, there's more of the host of heaven that's still, you know, beyond stars, moon, and sun. Then there's the host of heaven, y'all. There's galaxies out there. But y'all, these things are so far away. Do y'all know they said, we believe we gonna land on Mars soon with that rover we sent. But they sent it 5 years ago. You think about that, that's a machine, don't need human intervention. It's just guiding and floating out there. It's been 5 years to get to another location. What sense do that make for us? You think they're gonna let us get on a boat and travel 5 years to the next location? No, they're like, no, we're gonna leave planet Earth for y'all, but no. It's already been written. It's going to have to be like the days of Noah.
Right.
It's going to have to be put down, cleaned up, washed clean. A prepared place for a prepared people. If you ain't prepared about this, ain't no need you coming this way. Because ain't no soothsayers, warlocks, or wizards getting into the kingdom. It couldn't even get into the homeland when we was there, because we was told to run, who was running it out of there with that behavior. Where we at?
Keep going on it.
Yeah, now jump down to verse 23 of this same thing. Y'all get all in between and y'all really see Israel playing the whore, worshiping the whole host of heaven. Y'all, that's why we're going to get into a little of this Enoch, the 77. It's going to get into what's called chambers from where the sun come in. A lot of times you may hear NASA call them as portals or black holes or different things like that. That's what they name it is. But they're just confirming what Enoch saw. They just ain't had a chance to go up there peeking around. They like to. Go ahead, bro. Finish that up. Start at verse 23 of that same 2 Kings.
2 Kings chapter 23, verse 23. But in the 18th year of King Josiah, wherein this Passover was holden to the Elohim in Jerusalem. Moreover, the workers with familiar spirits.
The workers with what?
Familiar spirits.
Y'all see how common this was in Israel, workers of familiar spirit. Boy, say they talking to a demon at a drop of a hat. Oh yeah, Zach's fan, Ron Wee. Yeah, I know him personally. What do you need? Go ahead.
The workers with familiar spirits, and the wizards, and the images, and the idols, and all the abominations that were spied in the land of Judah, Judah, and in Jerusalem, did Josiah put away.
What did Josiah do?
Put away. That he might perform the words of the law which were written in the book that Hilkiah the priest found in the house of the Most High.
See, and that's what we're talking about, y'all. The truth that Hilkiah found. He said, we ain't supposed to be doing it. This in the law. If somebody telling you we ought to be doing these things, it ought to be in the law. The instructions in there. Every high priest under the order of Aaron got explicit instructions. They didn't play around. And the high priest would get it first. Because the high priest had to sacrifice for his sins first and then for the people. Let's get some more. Where we at?
Verse 25.
We got any questions out there too, Bob? Okay.
Verse 25. And like unto him was there no king before him that turned to the Most High with all his heart and with all his soul and with all his might, according to all the law of Moses. Neither after him arose there any like him. Notwithstanding, the Elohim turned not from the fierceness of his great wrath, wherewith his anger was kindled against Judah, because of all the provocations that Manasseh had provoked him withal.
So y'all can finish reading the rest of that. You can see what Josiah had to do to get Jerusalem cleaned up. Around Passover time, y'all, we was worshiping everything in Jerusalem. Yo, look, we cannot take that same thing back home. It must be cleansed out of us. The Most High say, if you pray and you fast, I will come and talk to you in a dream or a vision. And if I need you further than that, then I'll give you my power so that my glory may be shown. But you ain't gonna control nothing. Satan will let you play around like that. What you want to do? You want them people to see you as a God? Well, here, I tell you this, what you do. You do this. No. Most High say don't do that. That's an abomination. Yo, let's get right into some Psalm 89 and 10. I just want to get some real quick ones. Psalm 89 and 10. Want to hit that Job, and then y'all want to get right into these books of Enoch. And also, y'all, and because we're talking about them 7 stars, we're gonna get into some 2nd Enoch, chapter 30 and 33, y'all, where you're gonna see some understanding of these 7 planets, or what's called 7 greater stars, that people were named as gods to them. Where we at?
Psalm 89, verse 10.
Yeah.
Thou hast broken Rahab in pieces.
What hast thou done?
Broken Rahab in pieces.
So if anybody out there right now, if you Google biblical Rahab, it'll tell you what it was. You know, if somebody out there want to do it real quick, y'all, and then put it on the board so everybody could see what it's stating. What else it say about that? It said broken Rahab into pieces, didn't it?
Thou hast broken Rahab in pieces. As one that is slain. Thou hast scattered thine enemies with the stronghold. The heavens are thine.
The heavens are who?
The heavens are thine. The earth is also thine.
Right.
Also therefore the world and the fullness thereof. Thou hast founded them. The north and the south. Thou hast created them. Tabor and Hermon shall rejoice in thy name.
Y'all see what David is saying? He like, all of that you created. Rahab, you busted that up. And y'all, Rahab was a planet that was ruled by Satan. Because you always see the serpent tied with this Rahab, always. And we see Job talked about, you know, but we're going to get a little bit more. You can hold that, bro, because we're gonna get right into the meat of this. Because we got some chapters. Read, they short in the book of Enoch. Give me Psalm 104 and 25. While we in them Psalms. And then we'll give me some Psalm 104, 25. We're going to get a little bit of Isaiah 51 and 9. Yeah, I'm just trying to set this up because with those stars or with those planets, there were tied supernatural angels. When we get into the books of Enoch, then you're going to see him when he say, and I saw 10 angels handling this star, and they commanded it to do these things. Then the pieces will fall in line together. And you will understand what happens in those realms above where we've been allowed to go. And we ain't been nowhere higher than the 3rd level of heaven. It's called Abraham's bosom. Paul went there in 2 Corinthians 11 to the 3rd level. In the Testament of Levi, you can see him talking about the 3rd level of heaven. Luke 16, the rich man, he went to the 3rd level. But there's a flip side on that paradise. There's a great gulf that runs between them, where the most wicked people go to and are tormented before the lake of fire. I'm talking about rough times, sweating and fevers and chills. That's getting you prepared for the lake of fire. You go on that side, and the good is on that side. That's why the man looked over, he said, Abraham, just dip your finger in some water, just right here, and that's not the lake of fire, y'all. That's just torments on that level. The lake of fire is a whole nother beast. When the Messiah say you should receive the greater damnation, what can be greater than the lake of fire?
2 lakes of fire.
Boy, look here, something is going on that you don't really want that. And they say mess with a child and see what happens, because that's what Satan got for messing with Adam and Eve in their childlike mind state. They were in their innocence at that time. It's like teaching what that savage Messiah was doing. If you look out there on Netflix, teaching children, letting them watch him go to work on 2 women. They 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, watching these things, robbing them of their innocence. Where we at, bro? Psalm, what we say?
104. And verse.
Okay. 104, 25?
Right.
Okay.
Let's get that Rahab.
I'll tell you what, start at verse 24.
You want to get that definition of Rahab?
Yeah, give me that definition of Rahab. I know it was you gonna get.
No, Zeb got it.
Zeb got it? Go ahead, Zeb.
Oh, so what you saying?
No, I said no, bro.
Yeah, you made me catch it.
Age 72, 94.
Man, I got to get in on that one like Uriah. Y'all talking about me?
Rahab, breath, storm, arrogance, by only his name.
See,
Mythical sea monster.
see, but it says, notice it's Rahab is talking about breath, storm, the fire-breathing dragon. What else it say about him in them first parts? Start it over. Just read it over. I won't interrupt you. Go ahead.
Breath, storm,
Right.
arrogance.
Arrogance. Go ahead.
Arrogance, but only his name. Mythical sea monster.
Mystical what?
Mythical sea monster.
What is the mythical sea monster that the Bible keeps talking about? But it's not a mythical sea monster. It's been identified and it's written in the books of time. Because they ain't seen it or they can't catch it. Like Job say, you can't put no hooks in it and draw it in. You can't go fishing for this. Y'all ain't gonna have no Discovery Channel on the capturing of Leviathan. They say can't no hooks hold it. Go ahead, bro.
Emblematic name of Egypt. That's it.
See, and everywhere you look, always they take these beasts back and bury them in Egypt. Y'all, we see all the time, Raphael had to go bury the demon that was messing with that woman in Egypt. Shalom, man.
Shalom, Mark.
So y'all, we're gonna pick it right back up. Just wanted to hit that. Just getting that Psalm 104, start at 24.
Everybody there? The book of Psalms, chapter 104 and verse 24. You ready?
I'm ready.
It reads, O Master, how manifold are thy works. In wisdom hast thou made them all. The earth is full of thy riches. So is this great and wide sea, wherein are things creeping innumerable.
Things creeping what?
Innumerable.
Y'all, it's some things under the bottom of the ocean that they can't get to. That they done sent a camera down there, transparent beasts and different things down there, mammal life. That they ain't even came close to discovering yet. Go ahead, bro.
Both small and great beasts.
And great what?
Beasts. There go the ships. There is that leviathan.
Who is that there? That what?
That leviathan. Whom thou hast made to play therein.
See, the Most High made them to play in the great seas. Y'all, this is what they call their version of the Loch Ness Monster that they've been looking for. It's always showing up here, there, but there's always grainy images, ain't it?
Right.
All this 4G, 5G,
Yeah.
HD, and you still can't get no clear shot of a UFO, Bigfoot, or the Loch Ness Monster.
Everything's pixelated.
Everything grainy in broad daylight.
Yeah.
Boy, this Leviathan and Bigfoot is some escape artists, ain't they?
Yeah.
They throw it out of court. We can't see it. It's grainy. You don't have a better shot of this. Y'all, the Flintstones, they talk about that too. What y'all think Dino was? Behemoth. He was a dinosaur.
Right.
Shalom, Nat Turner. Give me some of that Isaiah 51 and 9, y'all, and then we're going to get right into that book of Enoch. Any questions out there too, bye? Y'all, and I just want to get into the book of Jasher. We're going to see how these planets move, but these Enoch's going to get it together.
All right, we're going to be reading in the book of Isaiah, in the 51st chapter, and we're going to start our reading at verse 9. Everybody there? Let's get some understanding, family. Awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of the Most High. Awake, as in the ancient days.
As in what days?
The ancient days.
Y'all, what are the ancient days? The Father's called the Ancient of Days.
Right.
Look, day one started 6 to 12,000 years ago. That's how long we've been in existence since Adam. 6 days of creation for this planet Earth after that first flood. for Adam. And then it says 5,000 years, 5,500 years before Messiah would show up again. Y'all, that still got us at 10 to 12,000 years at max. We've been here since that. So when you're talking about ancient, is that ancient? The Most High says he's ancient to creation of day one. He's ancient to that. What does that mean? If he's saying one day is as 1,000 years to me, and who would you call an ancient man? What would he have to be? At least what, 100,000?
Right.
Just like we say, old man, that's an old man. Man, he lived to be 88 years old. He 90 years old. Well, the Most High, if you look at him as ancient, yeah, he about 100,000 years old. 200,000 years old. How old is the Most High? But it say in these ancient days before this world was, it was activity going on. But just like all of them heavens and things out there, he said, don't worry about none of that. I'm going to explain all that to y'all later. Y'all got to get this right here first, so we don't get a repeat performance of what was happening out there. Go ahead, bro.
I'm going to start that again.
Okay.
Awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of the Most High. Awake, as in the ancient days, in the generations of old. Art thou not it that hath cut Rahab and wounded the dragon?
You see how the two keep getting put together, Rahab and the dragon? Rahab being that one of those 7 great stars of what's considered planets. Lucifer was worshipped as a planet. And that's the great dragon up there. That's the great dragon up there. Chinese worship, don't they worship? They say enter the dragon, don't they?
Right.
And what does it look like? Leviathan, don't it?
Yeah.
They the ones got the lock on Godzilla, and he always coming out of the what?
Out of the water.
Out of the water. Anybody got any questions out there? We ready to roll some more. You good on that? It's good on that, bro. We'll hold there. Just tightening up a little bit of these so we can continue to see them. These same things over and over and over again. But I want to hit just that Acts 14 real quick so that we can see that we see right here Rahab and serpent keep getting linked together. So it's a Satan-ruled kingdom. You know, that something happened up there that he gives us bits and pieces of it, but he's saying, look, he been mad at me, so now he come down there to be mad with y'all. Y'all got to get ready for who's coming down there to mess with y'all. But guess what? Guess what his kryptonite is? You keeping the law. Satan can't do nothing if you keep the law. Satan don't never come and try to deceive you until he know that you've had instructions from the law. And that's what he asked Eve. What did God tell you? He'll tell the Messiah that the same thing. He don't want to be the Messiah. He wants to be the Father. Before we go there, give me just a little bit of that Matthew 4:4 so we can get some understanding of how this demonic spirit plays. He comes when you've been washed clean to dirty you up again, but times 7. You quit anything in this life, you go back to it, you know how them Joneses jump on you times 7? Yo, that's why we can't play with. We have a day of atonement to get rid of transgression strongholds that's got you locked down permanently. This world have a day called Lent. They put ash on their forehead. Y'all see the practice? This how you know there's a different practice. Ain't nowhere in the Bible thou shalt get ashes.
No.
Thou shalt get blunt ashes. Thou shalt get any kind of ashes found. Barbecue pit ashes, and thou shalt wipe them across the head and down, and thou shalt give up something for 30 days. No. What if it's just a sin you give up for 30 days? Do you go right back to that sin after 30?
Been missing it, craving it.
Look, you took a 30-day off from stealing.
Right. Then you're going to return back?
Right. Family Dollar and Dollar General is showing a profit for 30 days. Where we at, bro?
It's on you, Nat Turner.
Acts 14, yeah, just want to get right what Paul and them was looked at like God. What you saying, sis? Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, that's what I want. Thank you, sis. Somebody is. Yeah, it ain't up in the stall. Yeah, I said that first, but you right there. Both of y'all. The house of Boaz, they trying to confuse y'all.
Leave us alone.
No, we're going to Matthew 4 and 4, and then we're going to go to Acts 14. Y'all just want to see y'all, whenever Satan come, he came after Noah right after they got off the ark. Right?
Go ahead, I'm going to ask Ezra a question.
Go ahead, bro.
How old did you turn last week? We was trying to figure that out.
Man, don't be asking me that question.
Man, what you Oh, he must have been right there.
We was right.
We was right around
I ain't even supposed to be buying liquor.
Right. Uh-huh.
Nah, I just turned 30.
Oh, so that's what's up. Yeah.
Boy, look here. 30, you got to start putting powder in your shorts. Yes, sir. You're going to start getting Old Spice gifts in. You can go out.
You crazy. Yeah, dirty 30, huh, boy?
Yeah.
I heard that.
Start reading. Matthew 4.
Go ahead, where we at?
All right, Matthew chapter 4, verse 4.
What it say?
But he answered and said, it is written.
No, go back one. Let's see what Satan tempted him. That's why I want to get right to that. Is it one?
Man, we'll go one.
Go one?
That's what I
Okay.
said.
That's what I, yeah.
That's what Zeb said.
Matthew chapter 4, verse 1. Then was Yahweh led of the Spirit.
What was he led up of?
Of the Spirit.
See, notice what he's led of. And then here come the devil. See, he wants to attack you because he's after that unpardonable sin. If I get you to break the law while the Spirit is on you, then you defile the Holy Spirit. It's not the ghost. When it says a man give up a ghost, that's just his breath of life. But if I give you to give up the ghost while you have the Holy Ghost on you, ooh, boy, you be in a lake of fire with me. Go ahead, brother.
Then was Yahweh led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward in hunger. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of God, command these stones be made bread.
See, because he know the Son of God is coming with signs and wonders like Moses. You know what I'm saying? So he said, the first thing he come off the top, I need to know you just ain't one of these old Pharisees around here. Because they ain't going to do what I'm getting ready to ask you to do. Turn that stone into bread. What the Most High say?
But he answered and said, it is written.
It is what?
It is written.
Y'all see how the Most High keep going back to the law? It's written. Let's read some more.
Man shall not live by bread alone.
Man shall not live by bread alone, but
by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God.
See, you see how Satan come and he tempt you with where he think he got you at. He had just got through doing what for 40 days and 40 nights? Fasting, so he's hungry. First thing he talked to him about food. Boy, you been out on the block for 2 weeks and ain't ate? Just been sipping out of a grape soda cans you've been finding around the Chinese restaurant? How the devil gonna come at you with a, what, with what? No, a 4-piece and 2-3 Popeyes chicken sandwiches. Boy, Theo, you'll be had at that point. I'm holding up, boy, we're gonna pray for you, Theo. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Then the devil taketh him up unto the holy city, and setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple, and saith unto him, if thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone.
Right.
Yahweh shall answer unto him, it is written again.
It is what?
Written again. Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God.
See, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. That's written. Why would I go up there and throw myself off? To prove what to you, Satan? To prove what to you? That I'm the Son of Man. I ain't even did a miracle yet. I ain't got to. We don't have to do miracles to prove nothing to no demon or devil. Just keep the law. That's enough. That'll make him flee. He will resist. He'll bag up off you. He's scared of that law. To death of it. He's just trying to make sure he gets you fearful of him versus the Most High. Go ahead. What else to say, brother?
Verse 8. Again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain.
An exceeding high mountain. Y'all are up on Mount Kilimanjaro now. One of them high ones. Go ahead.
And showeth him all the kingdoms of the world.
What is he showing him?
All the kingdoms of the world.
Showing him all the kingdoms of the world. Look. There's Babylon. There's Ethiopia's kingdom. There's this kingdom. There's America. There's Russia. There's China. Look, they in the supernatural, y'all. He's showing them all the kingdoms of the world that's been written in prophecy because he knows. Go ahead, what else he say?
And the glory of them.
And the glory of them. Y'all see, the glory of America was when they won that war and took over and they came into their height. We ain't never experienced that glory, have we? No. Y'all just being able to vote a few years ago? No, we don't know nothing about what Donald Trump's saying, let's make it great again. But he's talking about that glory. When they became the chief on planet Earth and to rule planet Earth. Everybody got to go through us. We trip to everybody pay taxes to us. Let's get it. Where we at?
Verse 10. Then said Yahweh unto him, Get thee hence, Satan.
Get thee what?
Hence, Satan. For it is written, Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. Then the devil leaveth him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him.
See, you see how angels came immediately after his temptation? Immediately if he had got through it, angels will come and minister to y'all. You know, just like Lot, the same thing. Soon as Lot have escaped, daughters got him drunk, Satan right back in there. Y'all know y'all the last 3 people on planet Earth, don't you? Your daddy ain't got no sons, y'all ain't got no husbands, they dead back there. Your mama a pillar of salt. Look at your daddy laying over there. Get that flagon of wine and go to work on him. He ain't gonna know. Load him up. Pull that Habakkuk 2:15 right now. And they did 2 days in a row. Moab and Ammon came from that, didn't it? Yes, sir. So y'all, we see how the devil play. The devil don't tempt you to do anything. You can't lie on the devil. You can't say the devil made me do it. Ain't nowhere we reading the devil made anybody do anything. Have y'all ever seen a verse?
No.
And the devil told them, you should get over there. You should turn your back. Get over there. Where that's written at?
If anything, he asked them, what your God tell you?
What your God tell you? That's what he do consistently. Where we at? You finished that? Let's get that Acts 14. And we're going to start about verse 8. Y'all can read that going on down and you'll see some unbelieving Jews stirred up the Gentiles. Look, tell you what, just read that verse 1 and 2 and then we're going to skip down because this will clear up that madness too. About every time you see Gentile in the New Testament, that's Israel. Don't know who they are. Go ahead, what that say, brother?
Acts chapter 14, verse 1.
What it say?
And it came to pass in Iconium that they went both together into the synagogue of the Jews.
Right.
And so spake that a great multitude of both the Jews and also of the Greeks believed.
Right.
But the unbelieving Jews stirred up the Gentiles.
See, now we got 2 groups of Jews right here. We got the first in verse 1, Jews, so it spake that the great multitude of both the Jews and also the Greeks did what? Believe. Now we got verse 2. Go ahead. What this saying?
But the unbelieving Jews. So this got to be a whole nother group of Israelites, ain't it?
Yep.
What are they not believing? What them Jews in verse 1 are believing. Go ahead. What did they do?
Stirred up the Gentiles.
So did they stir up themselves? That's the only thing you could get out of. They had to stir up themselves. Right? If Gentiles or Israelites that don't know who they are. So they stirred up themselves. Don't make sense, y'all. Go ahead, bro.
and made their minds evil affected against the brethren.
Against the brother, evil infected against the brethren. Go ahead, go ahead and drop down to verse 8.
Verse 8. And there sat a certain man at, how you pronounce it?
Lystra.
Yeah.
Lystra.
Impotent in his feet.
Crippled.
Being a cripple.
Oh, there it is right there. Go ahead.
From his mother's womb, who never had walked.
Never had walked, y'all. Y'all, we ain't talking about took a few steps and something kicked in and he fell and ain't walked since. He ain't never walked.
Right.
He ain't never had on a pair of them white baby Al Green shoes. Never. Where else we at? Verse what?
Verse 9. The same heard Paul speak, who steadfastly beholding him and perceiving that he had faith to be healed, said with a loud voice, Stand upright on thy feet. And he leaped and walked.
Yo, look, he didn't wasn't wiggling and wobbling like he about to fall over and 10 men is trying to help him up. No, he stood up on his feet and leaped. That Toyota kick.
Right.
What else to say?
Verse 11. And when the people saw what Paul had done, they lifted up their voices, saying in the speech of Lycaonia, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Lycaonia.
Lycaonia, the gods are come down to us in the likeness of men.
See, they say the gods done come down in the likeness of men. This man done come from outer space. Go ahead, what else to say?
And they call Barnabas Jupiter.
What they call Barnabas?
Jupiter.
See, we ain't called him, the Bible ain't telling me, it ain't called him Jupiter. They said the people called Barnabas Jupiter. Go ahead.
And Paul,
Marcarius or Mercury.
Right.
Go ahead.
Because he was the chief speaker.
Because he was the chief speaker, so Mercury, I guess, technically is the chief god out there, Mercury. That's the fast one. Mercury. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Then the priest of Jupiter, which was before their city, brought oxen and garlands onto the gate.
See, so there was a priest of Jupiter already on earth. He brought oxen and stuff. When he saw Paul, he like, oh man, Jupiter here. Y'all, this the same madness was happening in Egypt. Pharaoh, it says he's raw. He's God on earth until he comes back. He was waiting the same way to see an individual come down and worship him. You know, that's who I've been praying to. So it was a priest on earth. And he like, man, Jupiter didn't come visit me personally. He just made that crippled man walk. Get some bulls and goats out here now. What else to say, bro?
It says, then the priest of Jupiter, which was before their city, brought oxen and garlands onto the gate, and would have done sacrifice with the people. Which when the apostles, Barnabas and Paul, heard of, they rent their clothes.
What they do?
Rent their clothes. And ran in among the people, crying out.
So they ran in, Paul, them like, they doing what? Trying to make us what? God, Jupiter, Mercury, what? Boy, but you take some Negroes around here, they be like, they want to call me who? Give me that uniform, put a big M on there. And give me a headband with an M on it, give me some gloves with the fingers cut out, but I want some M's right there. And what you got back there, Theo?
I think this is what Paul was talking about when he was talking about describing his genealogy.
Yeah.
Different gods, I serve this one.
No, you can't get back to the root or the beginning of it.
Right.
That's what he's saying. You're wasting your time when there's no end point. It's like them talking about the universe. How you gonna measure how wide it is, and you can't even get the temperature of it. They say the farther we go out, the colder it gets. It never ends to where the temperature is the same degrees. Then we know there's a border, 4 corners somewhere, because you can get 4 corners to the same temperature because it's blocked. You know, the water is blocked, but outer space, it keeps going. It keeps going, and the farther you go, the colder it gets. They say the moon is 378 degrees below zero. What kind of oil are they using that they're driving that doom buggy up there like that? And they doing it at night because the sun ain't on that side, is it? And the sun is 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Shalom, Michael. It's 1,500 degrees when the sun on the other side. Film melts at 500. So who taking the pictures with what kind of film?
Right.
That's by their instructions. You know what I'm saying? It don't make sense what they're telling you. Go ahead. What else to say, brother?
Verse 15. And saying, Sirs, why do ye these things?
Why do you do what?
These things. We also are men of like passions with you.
See, he said, look, man, we just like men, just like you. But this power ain't from me. The Most High put this power in me. I just told him, do you believe? Get up and walk. That wasn't me.
Right.
I didn't do that. We like y'all, bro. But y'all can get on this if y'all get off of that moon worship, that planet worship. Y'all can get on some real deal. Go ahead. What else to say?
And preach unto you that ye should turn from these vanities unto the living God, which made heaven and earth, and the sea, and all things that are therein, who in past times suffered all nations to walk in their own ways. Nevertheless, he left not himself without witness, and that he did good, and gave us rain from heaven, and fruitful seasons, filling our hearts with food and gladness. And with these sayings, how you pronounce that? Scarce. Restrained they the people, that they had not done sacrifice unto them.
See, scarce restraint, man, barely kept it from happening, y'all. People want to do that because they want to see a miracle now. Y'all, that's why I say we got to be patient, y'all. Blessed are those who have not seen and still do what? Believe, y'all. Look, we ain't seen nary a thing like that. Ain't seen the Mississippi River split open and we walk on dry ground over to East St. Louis. Ain't seen none of that. But we have to believe it, or we need to get out of what we into now. Now the devil will say, I got some stuff I can make you believe right now. Get that Ouija board and ask it, who's your enemy? It ain't gonna tell you no name, it's gonna keep you wondering. It's a black boy with red lips from smoking blunts. You like, damn. What the hell is that? Man, that's probably Jabo. Yeah, man, he used to smoke a blunt down to his fingertips and burn his lip. A cup, I believe it's him. He called him. Does his name start with a J? They say that's $50 more per letter. Okay, I'll transfer it now. Boy, you be in for $10,000 before you get the last letter. You know it's James when you got Jame. What else behind that? How you gonna pay another $10,000 for the last S? You wanna believe a lie.
Right.
Where else we have, boy? What else to say?
Verse 19. And there came thither and certain Jews from Antioch and Iconium, who persuaded the people, and having stoned Paul, drew him out of the city, supposing he had been dead. Look,
y'all, this is how bad they wanted to believe in their God. They threw rocks, hit Paul upside the head, knocked him out cold, drew him out of the city. They like, good, get him out of here. Now, this is because he wouldn't be that God. Y'all see how crazy it is? They're going to force him to be that Jupiter.
Right.
Boy, look here, they knew money was on the line. Y'all can read the rest of that. Just wanted to show y'all that they were calling him. And this wasn't no individual star, y'all. These are the planets that they call him, Mercury and Jupiter and Neptune and all of them. So y'all, we're going to get right into it. Let's get into that book of 2nd Enoch. I tell you what, before we get there, let's get it in this book of Jasher. I just want to do real quick. While we're in the Bible, then we'll go to Jasher. Give me Matthew 2 and give me Jasher chapter 8. And we're going to see how these planets move. And they do pinpoint a certain amount of time that an event going to happen. But that star could have been hanging up there for a month.
What you say you going to?
We're going to go to Matthew 2 first, and then we're going to go to Jasher chapter 8. And we're going to see the same thing happen around Abraham's birth. That they knew, Satan knew he's trying to warn his people something is about to happen. Y'all better watch out. We saw his star up there, so of the timing of his birth.
Is this the same star that Balaam was talking about? Let me read it.
That was about Moses. Balaam was.
Let me read it for you right there.
Okay. You talking about Acts 7?
No. Numbers 24, I think. That was about Moses. I thought it was about the Messiah.
Yeah, I think he was around doing, it could have been about Messiah, but he was around in Egypt.
Yeah, he was around in Egypt.
Yes, sir.
Look, and it says, and he took up,
Where you at?
Numbers 24.
Let's go Numbers 24, y'all, real quick. I'd say I got that highlighted. 24 and what that?
15.
Okay.
It says, and he took up his parable and said, Balaam the son of Beor hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said, he hath said, which heard the words of God and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the visions of the Almighty falling into a trance, but having his eyes open.
So we see when people fall into a trance, we call it daydream. Hold on, we gotta let them get caught up real quick. Numbers 24, y'all, we're gonna let you get caught up. But when people fall into a trance, y'all, we just call that daydream. That's all falling in a trance is just called daydream.
24.
How you feeling over there? You want to put that other one over there? You sure? Okay.
15 through 17.
Okay.
We in 17 right now, but it says, verse 17, I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Seth.
Yes, sir. That is talking about the Messiah. That's what Balaam was talking about prophecy. But this prophecy been coming since Genesis 3:16. When he told Eve, your offspring gonna be the one that's gonna bruise the head of the serpent. So this goes way back. So, and he's just repeating the same prophecy. Y'all, it's coming out of that, but it's coming through a line of people to get to the Messiah. And they gonna keep bruising his head because the word of God gonna go forth through these individuals, through this covenant, is gonna go forth. So y'all wait, all of them always, and y'all see these wizards and warlocks know what the deal is. They know because they're working on a time schedule. Y'all, we're working on a time schedule trying to get ready for eternity. They're working on a time schedule trying to delay the end of their kingdom and their run. Y'all, do y'all understand these so-called patriots out there that marched on Washington? Say if Joe Biden cough wrong and break wind and have a heart attack in his sleep, who the president?
Kamala.
Who?
Kamala.
That's their worst nightmare.
Yeah. And Joe old.
They're like, look, yeah, we could have took what's her name, Clinton, Hillary Clinton before. You put her up in here. Y'all heard how they talk greasy about Michelle. They already starting to greasy talk with her. Y'all, they scared to death this is the end of the run. Because they said, look, she supports Black Lives Matter. She ain't gonna support us. She ain't gonna support our cause. Y'all, this is the end of the run for us. Y'all, just like when we stepped off them slave ships and got on the first plantation and say this the beginning of it. Damn. I know I can't live 400 years. Hell, the script say 310, man, 400, I'ma die being in captivity. They understand and look, little Jimmy or Bobby, if we right here at the door, if it is what it is, y'all may be going into servitude. This thing is ready to kick off, y'all. It's some angry white folks at each other, y'all, and prophecy finna leap off these pages, y'all. We got to get ready. The time of Jacob's trouble is at hand, because who you think they blaming for this chaos? Who you think they blame? Tobias? Yeah, he's the right, absolutely. He's on the list. They blame him. Where we at, y'all?
Going back to that Matthew?
Yeah, no, we finished that Matthew.
No, the Matthew 2.
Matthew 2, yes, sir. Okay, thank you. Ariel, for keeping me on point, bro. So 2 and 1 down through 8 or 9, yeah. 2 and 1 through 10, that'd be good enough, y'all. And then I want to hit Jasher 8, 1 through 10, y'all. And then we're gonna get right into the books of Enoch, y'all, because what we're lining up is that Rahab was a planet and ruled by Satan, because you keep seeing Rahab and Leviathan are what's comparable to the beast Leviathan. But y'all, as soon as we get through with this, y'all, don't let me forget to just go to Job, because I have to do Behemoth, the most monstrous creature on earth. You know, at that time, y'all, what we're talking about. Who's comparable and what are his ways? Let's get it.
That's what I'm saying.
Matthew chapter 2, verse 1.
What it say?
Now when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem.
See, just wise men from the east to Jerusalem. When Messiah was born in Bethlehem, as Micah 5 states, 1 and 2. Go ahead.
Saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews?
Right.
For we have seen his star.
What have we seen?
His star in the east.
Right.
And are come to worship him.
Come to worship him, not that star. We just seen his star that identified that he's been born.
Put this over there with you.
The sign has went out. He's been born.
It goes cuff. Okay.
So that's what they said, but they didn't come to worship the star. They already saw that we need to worship him that's born what? King. This wasn't common for everybody. Go ahead. Verse 2.
Saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him.
And all Jerusalem with him. It's going to be a change in God. Go ahead.
And when he had gathered all the chief priests and the scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet.
See the prophet Micah 5, 1 and 2. Go ahead.
And thou Bethlehem in the land of Judea art not the least among the princes of Judea, for out of thee shall come a governor, and shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men.
See, look, he gonna creep and call, hey, look, man, them people that keep looking up in the stars and stuff. Got that palm reader on their shed around there. Get them over here. I got some hard questions around here. Herod ain't gonna be sitting on this throne long. Go ahead.
Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared.
What he asked them?
What time the star appeared.
What time the star appeared. Like Ezra was saying, this goes back to that Numbers 24. They had the same thing. The star coming out, it was already seen back then in Numbers. This from them prophets too. They saying the star of the scepter of Jacob is going to be born today, y'all. We just got to see the sign up there. Look, most people, if you want to try to make that stargazing, you go right ahead. But look, at least it's giving her time to repent. The Son of Man is born. The Redeemer is born. Everybody in the whole world get this chance right now to get on board. But it say it disturbed the king and what else? All Jerusalem. We got to stop what we doing. What? Damn, I had door number 3. I was planning on going through that later on. Got a bag of turtle doves with me? Go ahead, bro. Where you at? Verse 7. Okay.
Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child. And when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also.
Look at him lying.
Right.
Bring me word. No, you upset first. Then go, yeah, bring me word. I need to come and bow down to him too. Ain't neither one of them talking about bowing to the star up there, his star. They say, I want to come and crash on my kneecaps to him too. Because the prophet said it. Go ahead.
When they had heard the king, they departed. And lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was.
So this star is moving, y'all, right? We look up the North Star. It's where the North Star has been there. We used to use it going from captivity in Virginia to get to Canada. You know, follow the North Star, right? So, but the North Star is sitting where it always sits. But when we talk about a planet that moves, or these things that, like they said, Mars and Jupiter coming and crossing paths, ain't did that in 800 years. And then 2,000 years before that. And that was around so-called Christmas time. That they trying to get you thinking, okay, the birth of Christ is going to happen again. No, he will be born in a manger again. If y'all thought that was the second coming, I hope y'all wasn't taking it that lightly. Like he gonna come back the same way, like just a big baby though. A grown man with a pacifier and a diaper on. That's what they looking for. No, it ain't gonna happen like that again. Go ahead, bro. Where we at?
10. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him.
What they do?
Fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh.
See, and y'all, those are gifts for a priest, a prophet, and a king. Y'all want no Tonka trucks in there, no, go on, Emo, shalom, y'all. Be careful out there, watch them jack artists out there. Yeah. Jack artists. Them too, they out there too, y'all, but. See you later. Yeah. Yeah, they out there too. Yeah, in between a building. But I ain't mean to say that, y'all. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And being warned of Yahweh in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed unto their own country another way.
So we can hold that, y'all, real quickly. We want to get right to this happening to Abraham too, a star, because Abraham was prophesied, you know, that he was going to take over for Nimrod. You know, Nimrod saw that. They reported to him, man, you got some problems coming, partner. Look, heir to this throne is finna be born. And his daddy was an idol worshiper. But let's get it, Josiah chapter 8. Y'all, and then we're going to get right into that Enoch. Y'all want to get in there because it's very important that we just deal with this celestial and get from out of the heavens, y'all. He said he going to shake the heavens. So if you up there, that means you still coming back down to earth, don't it? He said, I'm going to have everything crash down. That space station coming down, all of it coming down. So ain't no need going up there if it's coming down. Is that the truth?
Yep. They don't have to go up. They always think to go underground.
Right. Look, they trying to get to Mars, though. They saying if we could find any piece of water, we heading that way. Now, it may take 5 years for us to get there, but we heading that way. So how many of us you think gonna be on that bus traveling there? Huh? What you mean they done ate up all the bread and the chicken and we ain't left Cape Canaveral yet? Josiah chapter 8, verse 1.
You getting there? You got your hard copy, don't you, Art?
Y'all notice wise men are always around the prophets, seers, and there's seers for Satan. Y'all, it's because this spiritual war, y'all. They looking out for their people, they're warning their people, but they're warning them off the prophecies from Genesis to Revelation. Satan ain't got his own prophecy for the end of the world. He's warning his people about what's to come, like when he cast them legion of demons out. Are you come to torment us before the time? Wait a minute, this round one, ain't it? What do you mean? Oh, you finishing this up now? Besides, say, okay, go in that herd of swine. Get going. That's where you get your devil ham from. Where we at?
Josiah chapter 8, verse 1.
Yes, sir.
And it was in the night that Abram was born, that all the servants of Terah and all the wise men of Nimrod and his conjurers.
And his what?
And his conjurers came and ate and drank in the house of Terah. And they rejoiced with him on that night.
So when Abraham was born, all the wise men, conjurers, everybody in his house, they slapping fives, playing dominoes, congratulating him on his son Abraham being born. But you see who his guest is? Terah was a chief of idols. He had a house of idols. He would sell idols like you see these gravestone places right here that you go to get a gravestone made up. He had a house of gods like that he was selling. Boy, get busy with a chisel, boy, make an image of you, bruh, lightning quick. Lightning quick. Go ahead.
And when all the wise men and conjurers went out from the house of Terah, they lifted up their eyes toward heaven that night to look at the stars. And they saw, and behold, one very large star.
A very what star?
Large star came from the east and ran in the heaven.
What it do?
Ran in the heaven.
See, it's shooting across the sky. You may look at it as a shooting star or whatever, yeah, but it said this was a great big one. This was bigger, and it's moving across the sky. They looking up there like, uh-oh, this means something. Go ahead.
And he swallowed up the 4 stars from the 4 sides of heaven. And all the wise men of the king and his conjurers were astonished at that sight. And the sage understood this matter, and they knew its importance. And they said to each other, this only betokens the child that has been born to Terah this night, who will grow up and be fruitful and multiply and possess all the earth. He and his children forever, and he and his seeds will slay great kings.
What they gonna do?
Slay great kings and inherit their lands. And the wise men and the conjurers went home that night. And in the morning, all these wise men and conjurers rose up early and assembled in an appointed house.
Y'all read the rest of that, and y'all see how they had to go to work to try to get this thing figured out. What is this about? This Terah's son. What does this mean? So they pulling out their best men. What does this mean? You know what it means. It's going to be a takeover. Ain't no need y'all worried about it. All y'all idol worship is going to come to a halt. But they looked up in the sky to understand these things. And then they go inquire about them. Y'all, what does this mean? But they only coming back to one place. The scripture. What is that Bible saying about this? Oh, the scepter. It's going to start here and start to move through. That covenant is going to pass. Oh, we got some problems. So you see like imagery throughout the Bible that match up. So it ain't like one book ain't saying what the other one is saying. So y'all, let's get right into 2nd Enoch. I want to get in there. We wasn't holding for nothing else, was we? Okay.
2nd Enoch.
Yeah. And can you put that up on the board, Zed? We may have a few people here that you think so. If any of y'all grab a PDF, but we got it here. If y'all got pseudo figure.
It's in my pocket, my pseudo too.
Yeah, we want to just pick it up to where if we can get it on the board just so everybody read together. Y'all, Enoch is mentioned throughout the Bible, Genesis through Revelation. It speaks of Enoch and his travels to outer space. Y'all ain't worried about what nobody else said about going to outer space. It says Enoch went up there, him and Elijah, and they're going to come back and set the record straight before the Antichrist get here. Now, if somebody else telling you they going up there, it's just like anybody else talking about prophets. We're not saying people can't have dreams. Paul had a dream and went to the 3rd level, but he came back and talking no noise. He said he told the things I seen were too wonderful to spread this news. And he told the Lord, I swear I'm going to do right by what I see. He said, no, I'm going to give you a reminder. I'm going to let Satan buffet you every time you think about you going to say something. It's going to feel like a left hook to the ribs. You know what I saw up there? Oh. I ain't seen nothing, y'all. Let's continue on to something else. 3 times he was buffeted. So y'all, we know people went up as far as there, but that was it, and they came back to tell it on earth what's being prepared for what's on earth. How we looking? Where we at? Everybody there? Okay. Second Enoch, and what I want to do is
Enoch 30, right?
well, I want to get back to the second day. Is that in 22? Third day on the 30th. I want to get back to the second day. Let's start about chapter 24, if we can get that. I'm thinking that's where it's at. If not, we get right into 30, and it's just talking about the sun and the moon too, and what's going on with it. And we're going to jump down to chapter 33. But how are we looking in chapter 24?
That'll be a fool spot.
Okay. Okay.
It's on you over here.
Yes, sir.
You about to jump it in?
Yeah, that boy chomping at the bit down there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if this one reads the same as this one.
Okay.
You talking about in the Secrets of Enoch?
The books of Enoch Complete Edition is the 3 books in one. I bought it online. Just trying to make sure they read the same. But I can read this out of the pseudepigraphy.
Okay.
Chapter 24, I believe.
Is that
right?
good, Ed? Chapter 24? Okay, lift up to 7th head, great church to the Enoch, show me Lord, the wells there. Have that. Okay, chapter 21. Well, the second day, yeah, he also threw Satan out on that day.
Yeah.
Is that in there? Hold on, that's what I'm looking for. But if not, we'll come back to it. Okay, yeah, I want to start. Let's start at 21, man, because this is talking about the great constellation. That's why I want 21, y'all. I'm sorry about that, y'all, for the delay. 21, second Enoch, chapter 21. Yeah, we start at verse 1. And y'all, this is the highest heaven, y'all. There's 10 levels of heaven. Y'all, on the 3rd level of heaven is what's called paradise. Like I said, the righteous soul that died believing in the Messiah are on that 3rd level. It's called Abraham's bosom. The thief on the cross went there. But nobody else has ever ascended there. Revelation 6 and 9, you see, and I saw the souls under the altar. That's what they say, given white robes and told to rest a little season. 2nd Ezra 7 say the same thing. 2nd Ezra 2 say the same thing, that on that level, right there, Abraham's bosom is paradise. They're resting. They ain't woke, they ain't ice skating, they ain't hanging around. They've been given white robes and palms in the hand and been put back to sleep. Resting until the end is done. And on the other side of that, like I say, the most wicked spot, Judas Iscariot and them, is on that side. In torments. It's just rough. It's sweating. It's sweating in secret places. Non-stop. No rest. Where we at? How yours looking? A little bit different?
Yeah, go ahead,
Go ahead, Ed.
Ezra.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah, you go ahead and read.
21.
I'm going to follow on both of these and see
I'm in
what.
Super Figures too.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, 2nd Enoch chapter 21, verse 1. And they do not leave by night, nor depart by day, standing in front of the face of the Lord and carrying out his will.
Yours looking
You in the pseudo?
You in the pseudo?
I'm on page 135.
Well, and it's saying, and the cherubim and seraphim.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna get into right now. The cherubim and the seraphim standing all
No, I'm
around.
reading what his word.
Yeah, that's 21 and verse 1, right? The cherubim and the seraphim. That's verse 1? Okay, let's get it then.
Chapter 21. It says, cherubim and seraphim standing all around his throne, 6-winged and many eyes, And they covered his entire throne, singing with gentle voice in front of the face of the Lord. Holy, 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 Lord Sabaoth. Heaven and earth are full of his glory.
So everybody in that same space, so we got different. Where you at too about how yours looking?
I'm reading right along with.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
reading with him.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Heaven and earth are full of his glory. And when I had seen all these things, those men said to me, Enoch, up to this point, we have been commanded to travel with you. And the men went away from me. And from then on, I did not see them anymore. But I remained alone at the edge of the seventh heaven.
At the what heaven?
Seventh heaven. And I became terrified. And I fell on my face and I said to myself, woe to me. What has happened to me? And the Lord sent one of his glorious ones, the archangel Gabriel. And he said to me, be brave, Enoch. Do not be frightened. Stand up and come with me and stand in front of the face of the Lord forever. And I answered him and said, woe to me, my Lord. My soul has departed from me from fear and horror. And called to me the two men who brought me to this place, because I have put my confidence in them. And with them I will go before the face of the Lord. And Gabriel carried me up like a leaf carried up by the wind. He moved me along and put me down in front of the face of the Lord. And I saw the eighth heaven.
What heaven was it?
The eighth heaven, which is called in the Hebrew tongue, how you pronounce that? Muzaloth?
Muzaloth, yeah.
Muzaloth, the changer of the seasons, of dry and of wet, and of the 12 zodiacs.
Of the 12 what?
Zodiacs.
Or constellations. In some like in the King James Version, it'll say the 12 constellations, or what you would consider zodiacs out there, y'all. But we just read in the law, don't worry about them zodiacs out there. They're not to be worshipped. They ain't doing no commands for you. They're set up for a different situation. Go ahead. What else to say?
It says, which are above, the changer of the season, of dry and of wet, and the 12 zodiacs, which are above the seventh heaven. And I saw the ninth heaven, which in the Hebrew language is called, how you pronounce that?
Kukavon.
Kukavin.
Kukavon. No, Kukavon. Yeah.
Where the heavenly houses of the 12 zodiacs are. Chapter 22. And on the 10th heaven,
on the highest heaven in the universe, go ahead.
Aravat, I saw the view of the face of the Lord, like iron made burning hot in a fire, and brought out, and it emitted sparks, and is incandescent. Thus even I saw the face of the Lord. But the face of the Lord is not to be talked about. It is so very marvelous and supremely awesome and supremely frightening. And who am I to give an account of the incomprehensible being of the Lord?
That's why you always see like Samson's mama and a few others, and they say, I've seen the face of the Lord, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die, because most men thought if you see the face of the Lord, that meant instant death. For one, because we make graven images. Most High ain't gonna let you make no graven image of him and be selling it at the pawn shop. If you think we got Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy, and Jack Kennedy at the door, if you got a picture, the true picture of the Lord, sold at swap meets. Just like how they sell bootleg CDs, they be in a Chinese shop with idols of the image of the Most High. No, you ain't gonna make no image of that. Go ahead.
And it says, and who am I to give an account of the incomprehensible being of the Lord and of his face, so extremely strange and indescribable? And how many are his commands and his multiple voice, and the Lord's throne supremely great and not made by hand, and the choir stars all around him, the cherubim and the seraphim armies, and their never silent singing. Who can give an account of his beautiful appearance, never changing and indescribable, and his great glory? And I fell down flat and did obeisance to the Lord. And the Lord with his mouth
What
said,
chapter you in? 22, y'all. Let's just jump for time's sake. We've seen his 10 levels of heaven. He's seen the Most High. Nobody has ever seen his face. Even when you look into, I believe it's the Exodus 33 or Exodus 36, where Moses asked, let me see your glory. And he told him, he said, you can see my back parts, but you can't see my face. So a lot of people think that was the Father got off his throne and came down and showed Moses that he's a real individual, but you can look at the back of me, but you can't never see my face. No, Moses asked to see his glory. And who's the Father's glory? Who's the glory of the Father? The who? Say it again, y'all. Who's the glory of man? Christ. See, well look, y'all know what I'm saying. The glory of Christ is who? Man. The glory of man is who? Woman. So we see the order. That's what Moses has. He has to see the Messiah in his glory, like Peter, Paul, and James saw in Matthew 17 on the Mount of Configuration. That's how he wanted to see him. Let me see him like this. Let me know who's in charge of earth. Let me see the host, the angel. Let me see him. I saw him in the burning bush, but I want to see him in his glory. You can't see him like that, just want to be seen. When you see the backside, know for sure he exists. And he was seeing the Lord's glory. Y'all have to understand, the Most High ain't going to get off his throne to come down here and do earthly work, and he done created everything. So he going to get here, he a taskmaster then. I'm going to tell you how to do it, and then I'm going to do it for you. Get back, get back. Yeah, and then you got to go in the temple like this, and you gotta kill. I want the priest to kill. To get back, I'll show you how to kill it. And then you get back, I'll show you how to light them incense. You think the Lord gonna do all of this work, and he got servants for this type of business? Where we at, bro? Get down to 27. That's where I want to go, y'all. And then we're gonna jump to chapter 33, y'all. And then I want to get into Enoch 70, and we'll ride it on out, y'all, in the Enoch, because it's gonna get clear on the sun and moon, you know, and power over them, because Joshua stopped time. Hezekiah asked the Lord, and time, yeah, he asked for 15 more years, but time went back on the sundial. It hung still for a little bit of time. Go ahead, what you got, bro?
The intro always has a connection to the earth, because in Deuteronomy 28, 29, the heavens and the earth was witness to our covenant.
Yeah.
It was always tied to the heavens and the earth.
Look, the earth and them heavens and them earth ain't gonna get out of line. They don't care how you worship them. They ain't told you to do it. They are not under your command. No warlock can make the sun do anything. Yo, that's why it's so frightening about somebody would get hung up in magic, and it has limited power. If they saw you doing some things, they're scratching their head, because they know all the stuff they playing with comes with a risk and a cost. Where we at? 27 and 1. Second Enoch. Y'all, and then we're going to get out of there and get to,
You said 27?
27, chapter 27. Second Enoch, right?
Yeah, second Enoch,
Yeah.
27,
Verse 1.
verse 1. It says,
And it's going to match up with Genesis 1 and 1, y'all. Y'all can turn to that and y'all see it go word for word. Go ahead, bro.
and I gave the command, let there be taken some of the light and some of the darkness. And I said, become thickened, and be wrapped around with light. And I spread it out, and it became water. And I spread it out above the darkness, below the light. And thus I made the solid water, that is to say, the bottomless. And I made a foundation of light around the water. And I created 7 great circles.
What you create?
7 great circles inside it. And I gave them an appearance of crystal, wet and dry, that is to say, glass and ice. And to be the circuit for water and the other element.
And the other what?
Element. And I pointed out to each one of them his route, to the 7 stars, each one of them in his own heaven.
In its own heaven, y'all. Y'all see we above here, we in a different realm. Now each one of them got their own set of heavens. See, these are talking about what they're calling planets, so to speak. Y'all, and this is why we got to just understand and get the understanding of it and get back down on planet Earth where everything gonna be happening. But we want it to the point that where if somebody brought it up, you would understand these things and just wouldn't be caught short. When somebody say, man, I saw the word zodiac in the Bible. I saw the word horoscope in the Bible. The bottom line is it has to be a horoscope for you though, because it's an abomination to practice it. So y'all, this is all we want you to get the understanding of, and then come back down to earth like the scripture. It tell us what's out there so we're not left scratching our heads all the time. And when somebody asks us something about it, well, I know the Bible says something about it. Well, y'all, let's get in it and get back out of it. Let them wonder about what's on Mars. Shalom, y'all. Y'all be careful out there. Watch out for them people like to take your calls. I'm going to say that this time. You're right. Yeah, where we at?
It says, to the 7 stars, each one of them in his own heaven, so that they might travel accordingly.
So that they might do what?
Travel accordingly.
So they move, y'all. All on the sun and the moon rise and set, but these move across the heavens. Go ahead.
And I saw how good it was. And I made a division between the light and between the darkness. That is to say, in the middle of the water, this way and that way. And I said to the light that it should be day, and to the darkness I commanded that it should be night. And evening came, and again morning came. That is the first day. Verse 28, chapter 28.
So y'all see that was the first day, but just skip down to chapter 29 for time's sake, y'all. We're gonna get right to, you see that was the first day, we're gonna get right into the second half of the second day. Go ahead, bro. I want to just get chapter 29, verse 1.
It says, and for all my own heavens I shape a shape from the fiery substance. My eye looked at the solid and very hard rock. And from the flash of my eye I took the marvelous substance of lightning, both fire and water and fire. Neither does this one extinguish that one, nor does that one dry out this one. That is why lightning is sharper and brighter than the shining of the sun, and softer than water, more solid than the hardest rock. And from the rock I cut off a great fire, and from the fire I created the ranks of the bodiless armies, 10 myriad angels, and their weapons are fiery, and their clothes are burning flames. And I gave orders that each one should stand in his own rank.
So they're in their orders and they're being given weapons and instruments of war. So when you read Revelation 12:9, I saw a war in heaven. The devil and he drew a third part of the star. Michael and the devil, they had their armies and they scrapped. Y'all, this took place way before Adam was created. They were scrapping up in the heavens. That's how them angels taught man what you make. You make this will prevent you from getting hit by this. Then make this. They taught them war, how to make shields, how to make spears, how to dress yourself up to draw things. Y'all, these things was taking place in the heavens. They just brought that to the earth. But he warned us. Satan's come down there and he's angry because he got threw down from his rulership to worship you. Go ahead.
It says, but one from the order of the archangels deviated.
One from the who?
Order of the archangels deviated. Together with the division that was under his authority.
Together with the division under his authority. Go ahead.
He thought up the impossible idea that he might place his throne higher than the clouds.
Who is that, y'all?
Satan.
Go ahead.
Which are above the earth, and that he might become equal to my power. And I hurled him out from the height, together with his angels, and he was flying around in the air ceaselessly above the bottom. And thus I created the entire heavens, and the third day came.
And the third day came. So when did Satan get thrown out of heaven? On what day?
On the second day.
On the what
Second
day?
day.
See, he wasn't created on the second day. He was thrown out of heaven on the second day because he grabbed his partner. He's like, man, ain't y'all tired? Now they talking about worship some dirt man down on this planet. Y'all with me or what?
And if you go and read in Genesis 1, every day he called good except the second day.
Oh, boy, look here.
And it was because Satan got threw out on that day.
And that was so or something, wasn't it?
Huh.
And it was so?
And it was so. So I just want to peep at, y'all give me let me just peep at 33.
Miss 30 is going to how the paradise in the third heaven.
Yeah, it go into that, y'all, third heaven. Y'all read all of that. It goes into the third heaven and you'll see exactly what happened.
And it talk about the renewal of the earth.
And the what?
The renewal.
The renewal of the earth, y'all. So I want to just, let me check 33 real quick. If not, we're going to get right into...
Well, 30 start going into like the different names of these stars.
30, that's what it's saying? Is it naming them? Them seven?
Yeah.
That's what I want then.
Okay. Chapter 30. It says, and on the third day, I commanded the earth to make trees grow, large and fruit-bearing, in the mountains, all kinds of sweet grass and all kinds of sown seed. And I laid out paradise as a garden.
As a what?
As a garden. And I enclosed it and placed armed guards, angels aflame with fire. And thus I created the renewal of the earth. And then evening came and morning came, the fourth day. And on the fourth day I commanded, let there be great lamps on the heavenly circles. On the first, the highest circle, I placed the star Chronos.
The star of who?
Chronos.
Chronos. Y'all look that up and it'll tell you planet somebody. See, y'all see things out there like people try to call the planet Rahab Narubu, or what do they call it? Naribu, that was destroyed and broken into asteroid. Y'all call it what you want it, but the script called it enough. It says a great star up there is when ones that move and signal time. It's going to come beforehand.
And Cronus in Greek mythology was Zeus' father.
Who was he? Zeus' daddy?
Zeus' father.
Yeah.
Greek mythology.
So y'all see that how they change these things, but we stick with the Bible no matter what these scriptures say, because it's in the Bible. It never tells you to worship them, do it? See, because it says Satan gathered his third and he wanted to go up there and be worshiping. Y'all got to get out of here. What's going on, bro?
There was life on those planets before?
What happened?
Life on those other planets before?
Yeah, it's life going on. Supernatural life, there's something that happened on there that created these great sea monsters and things we're finding, that created mammoth elephants and Neanderthals. That wasn't in Adam's run. You can't find that 6 to 12,000 years. That's what we're talking about. You have to put it in 6 to 12,000 years. How old are these things they saying they is? Hundreds of thousands of years. You can't get mutation in 10,000 years like that, right? Because we ain't changed since in 10,000 years. What's the difference in us than Noah getting off the ark? Was Noah shorter than us? Was everybody get off the ark the size of Webster? And now I'm involved. You know, I'm in 2020, I'm 2021. I done evolved to where I'm towering over them now. That I'll post up Webster and Gary Coleman. Or I go hard in the paint on them short lenses. What we at, bro? We can hold that, y'all.
Oh, you want me to stop?
What? How far more you had to go? What you want to get to? Oh, all of them. Read all of them. Read all them names. Yes, sir. Go ahead, bro.
On the second, lower down, I placed, I don't even know how to pronounce it, Aphrodite.
Yeah. Y'all, but y'all see them names and things now, Aphrodites and.
Yeah, it says on the third, Oryx. On the fourth, the sun. On the fifth, Zoas. On the sixth, Hermes. And on the seventh, the lowest, the moon. And with the lowest stars, I beautified the earth below. And I appointed the sun over the illumination of the day, but the moon and stars over the illumination of the night. And the sun goes in accordance with each animal, and the 12 animals are the succession of the months. And I assigned their names and the animals of their season.
See, and that's why you'll have the tribe of Judah or the line or something, but that ain't never told us to go into the zodiac. It ain't never on the breastplate of the high priest Aaron. It's got 12 crystals in there, right? For the 12 tribes. But ain't nobody can pull up a picture and tell exactly if those 12 stones went 4 across and 3 down, or 3 across and 4 down. So it ain't identifying nary a stone with no tribe. So ain't nobody can be fat mouth and talk about, oh, the carbuncle is for Judah. And you still have carbuncle. No. Carbuncle. That ain't in there. He didn't put it in there for you to go chasing after a stone. It tells you that that represents one of the tribe, and it's clear as crystal of how Israel has to be. They have to be clear as crystal. You have to be able to be seen through. Can't have no spot or wrinkle. That's what he says. Church has got to become. You looking for a church without what? Spot or wrinkle. So that's all it's telling you. But you can't identify like people today say, well, that's March birthstone. Whatever they name it, Amherst or whatever it is, or whatever this color may be. That ain't got nothing to do with the scripture. It ain't in there. It ain't never said. And for the tribe of Judah, thou shalt be represented by the carbuncle. Thou shalt be as strong as sapphire and just as beautiful. We ain't never seen been compared to that, have we? No. But we've been compared to the king of the jungle on earth. What rules this jungle right now is Judah. So that's how it's comparing us. Just like it compared Leviathan, the chief of the pride of the children of men, to Satan. But we're going to get into Behemoth right after we get out of this Job 40, y'all. And I'm going to hit that Enoch 72, y'all. Just skip through that real quick, and we may be out of here at 4:30 and 35 seconds. Hey, how's it feeling, y'all? If it's getting a little chilly, we'll turn on the second heater. Y'all good? How y'all looking? Because they're working on the boilers up in here. Y'all good? How you feeling? Sis, you good? Okay, all right.
So what do you mean in their connection with the newborn and their horses?
See, in the newborn, when we're talking about when Christ was born, when Abraham was born, they're connected with supernatural births. They will run and tell to the spot where it's going to be born. They're connected with the newborn. Certain newborns, that it sends a timely birth, but it'll never just spill it out for you so you can just be gazing up there. Man, I ain't worried about no Antichrist. I'm waiting on his star to come. When I see that, then I'll straighten up. Until then, I'm going to do what I'm doing. I'm going to do me. That's what we'll do. We'll wait to the last minute. We'll wait on something to give us when we have instructions right here. It told us, look what's taking place on earth. It's going to be like the days of Noah. Y'all know what happened in the days of Noah? Mm-hmm. Did any of that take place in outer space? Huh? Heavens gave up their light and different things, problems and punishments from the heavens raining down on earth. But everything took place on earth. When Noah and them got off that ark, what was there? On earth, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where in that Job you want to go out?
We finished that. Did you finish that, all the names of them? Yeah, so y'all see it. And once y'all continue, just read on down on that, y'all get some clear understanding of what's taking place. Where we at, verse what? Going
Job
to
40.
Job 40. Yeah, we get right there. Start about 15. Because y'all, we did 41, I believe we were talking about Leviathan. Let me make sure. Job 41, I believe we're talking about Leviathan. But y'all, and then put on lock real quick for me, Ezekiel 31, so we get some understanding of how things are compared to certain things. That don't mean it's that. Some things you just can't take literal. Y'all, we've been in this long enough, y'all. Y'all got to know when it's speaking, what it's speaking about. Some of that Job 40. Y'all, we're going to get right into that 72.
Ezekiel 31.
31. We want to put that on lock for just a second.
Job 41, verse 1.
40, 15. And see, y'all, we went over 41. If y'all look at 41 and 1, y'all see where it started with Leviathan.
Yeah, 15 through 24.
How we looking? Who got it?
Job chapter 40, verse 15.
What it say?
Behold now, Behemoth.
But who?
Behemoth.
Now, if y'all look that up, some people will say that means a hippopotamus. Now, a hippopotamus is big and it's strong, but the Bible identifies it. Y'all know what a hippopotamus look like, right? Y'all know what a hippopotamus tail look like, right? Let's keep reading. Go ahead.
Behold now, Behemoth, which I made with thee.
Which I made with who?
Thee. He eateth grass as an ox.
He eateth grass as an ox, so he on land. Go ahead.
Lo now, his strength is in his loins.
His strength is in his loins. His thighs are thick. Power's in his loins. Go ahead.
And his force is in the navel of his belly. He moveth his tail like a cedar.
He moveth his tail like a cedar. A cedar tree. Y'all know what the cedar trees of Lebanon, how they look now. A hippopotamus tail is about that big and curly like a pig tail. Would that be moving it as a cedar? Huh?
No.
That's a problem already, ain't it? Go ahead.
He moveth his tail like a cedar. The sinews of his stones are wrapped together.
See, it's saying, and he all muscle. Sinew is muscle, ain't it?
Right.
And he all muscle, y'all. He's power. Y'all, that's why we have them 100-yard dash runners. Y'all look at their thighs. Y'all look at the sinew around them thigh regions and that gluteus maximus. You like, boy, that's all muscle. And when that gun fire off, y'all see the power in the loins of man, let alone this beast. Go ahead, let's read some more.
His bones are as strong pieces of brass. His bones are like bars of iron. He is the chief of the ways of Yahweh.
See, he is the chief of the ways of Yahweh. What does this got to do with Behemoth being the chief in the ways? We just read in 41, y'all gonna read about Leviathan and say he's the father of pride. The dragon, the great dragon. Let's read some more about Behemoth. Go ahead.
He that made him can make his sword to approach unto him. Surely the mountains bring him forth food, where all the beasts of the field play.
See, so when you see a dinosaur, long tail, the big thick thigh legs, y'all know like the tyrannosaurs, y'all with the short arm, them big old thick legs, and he's biting his food, he eat off the mountains, and it's gonna describe some more things of his inhabitants. Go ahead.
Surely the mountains bring him forth food, where all beasts of the field play. He lieth under the shady tree.
He lieth under the what?
The shady tree. In the covert of the reed.
See, so look up reed right now. If anybody, R-E-D-E-D, so we can see where he's hanging out at. He's in the mountain, and we'll see. And then you picture, every time you see a dinosaur, what they have them standing in. Or remember, y'all, some of y'all ain't as old as some of us in here, like Nerf and Zeb and I feel like Mike, you know. It used to be a movie. It was a cartoon we had, Lost in Another World, or what was it?
Yeah, Lost in Space.
No, it wasn't Lost in Space. It was here on Earth, another planet or Earth. It was about dinosaurs, the Lost World or whatever it was. It's a 70s cartoon. So some of y'all looking at it like I wasn't born in the 90s and 2000. I don't know nothing about that. But they always talked about it. Another world. It's like almost they went through a portal and then they was in this time span. So it ain't like this thing ain't been talked about. It's just that if it brought to you as a myth, and myth meaning it just, you know, it's made up by somebody, but they got it from somewhere. We have to make sure from the original source. Like people say, well, that stuff in the Bible can be found in Samaria. So you're telling me, or Egypt was the first civilization, so you're telling me that Adam was born in Egypt. Adam was the first ruler in Egypt then, right? That's what you're telling me, or did Egypt come later? Like the scriptures say. Make them work, y'all. Don't let them cheat off the Bible to prove their vain doctrine. Where we at?
Reed is
What it say?
Strong's number H77. Canoe, a reed, as erect, by resemblance a rod, especially for measuring, shaft, tube, stem, the radius of the arm, beam of a steel yard, balance, bone, branch, calamus, cane, reed, spearman, stalk.
Did it say stalk?
Stalk.
So now we're talking about, because it say he's in the covert of the reed and fens. If you get fens, all these are like marsh areas that like where like rice paddies be. If you picture that a little bit, just a little lower layer of water, like Louisiana moss or something, and that's where they hang out, in the fens and reeds. But if you look up already look like Webster, it'll say a dry, grassy, mossy area. And whenever you see dinosaurs, they always got them there, and they're eating off the mountains. You know, they just bite food off the mountains, they're in trees. His tail is big as a cedar tree. So finish him on off of who he's talking about.
In the covert of the reed and fens.
And fens.
The shady trees cover him with their shadow. The willows of the brook compass him about. Behold, he drinketh up a river.
What he do?
He drinketh up a river.
Can a hippopotamus drink up a river?
No.
Go ahead, what else it say?
And hasted not.
And hasted not will gulp down the Atlantic Ocean in a nanosecond. Go ahead.
He trusteth that he can draw up Jordan into his mouth. He taketh it with his eyes. His nose pierceth through snares.
So he's just basically telling, now give me that little bit of Ezekiel 31 so we can understand when we talked about a cedar tree, it's going to compare cedar tree to some powerful, just like Pharaoh, great man on earth, but it's telling you it's something that you can look with your tangible eyes and say, oh, that's the greatness it's speaking of. That greatness, so that you know, instead of you have to saying it was, you know how people tell them old fish stories? Well, I caught that fish, it was this big, and by the time it get to you two guys this big,
Yeah, right.
then it can get this big, and by the time it get to Ezra, it's out on the parking lot that I caught.
Right.
So y'all, we stick with the true deal. Just like anything they say that it's a theory, the theory of evolution. Theory means cannot be proven by fact. That's why they call it a theory. Anytime you see the word theory, ain't no need you digging into it. It cannot be proven by fact. How you know how far Mars is and you've been driving for 5 years and ain't got there yet? Look, we're man, how long it take to get over there on a flight to Hawaii? 14 hours! And that robot been flying for 5 years now and ain't even got close to Mars yet. And then they talking about going farther out. For what? To appease who? How does that, when war going on, they keep pointing up there, we're going to the moon, to do what? For what?
And you know, this ain't got nothing to do with what we are. I just been thinking about this since I saw it, but it was one of them Hebrews, man, on the Facebook the other day. And he said something, and I don't get into Facebook wars with Bruce, but he said that his Sabbath starts in the morning.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and there was other Hebrews chiming in and agreeing with this dude, and I'm like, the Sabbath starts at sundown.
And they also say it's sun up to sundown.
Right, and
this is the stuff that goes on.
But I mean, and they following this cat's lead, and it's not what the scriptures say.
Well, sun up to sundown, you only gonna get 12 hours.
Yeah,
no matter how you look at it.
That's what somebody was arguing with.
Look, but the morning and the evening were the first day. Look.
First day.
The morning and the evening. That's saying the 12 hours a day, so it's apparently saying that's the language before the day ends, the morning and the evening. The day ends at evening or sundown. Evening is twilight. That's the time before sundown hit. Now we understand that a lot of them go to that Exodus 16. We understand that, but when you look at consistency throughout the Bible, when we get into this Enoch 72 about the moon, you're gonna see when the new moon kick off. So there's a consistent pattern of darkness before light. to start. When the Messiah come back, he said, what's going to be knocked out the sky?
Sun and the moon.
Sun and the moon. What that's going to create for planet Earth? So when light comes, then what we got? The first day of eternity? Yo, so we go with consistent pattern. Ain't no way, shape, or form gonna say y'all dead wrong saying it start at 6 a.m. or it's done that. You know, yeah, we ain't gonna argue with you. The bottom line is what we're talking about is consistency. And what time the Sabbath starts. Go ahead.
And that's just what I was, this is a brother that, you know, be teaching, and that means that he's teaching the wrong thing. And then you get these people who worship men and follow what man say and not the Bible.
Right.
And then they, just like we were talking about, practice makes habit.
Right.
But perfect practice makes perfect. That's not perfect practice.
Yes, sir.
And it's being taught as law, and it's not. But I wasn't going to get on Facebook and go back and forth, because it ain't about that. It's about reproof and correction.
That's all it is, bro. Look, Messiah was on the cross. They had to get him down. It's not, you can't leave a man hanging on the cross to go into another what? So did they leave him on the cross throughout the night and got him off by the morning? Or did they get the Messiah off because it was evening time?
Right.
For the third hour of the day, he gave up the ghost. Then he was still on the cross at 3 p.m. He was still on the cross. They had to get him down before. You can't leave a man hanging on the cross all day. If sundown is the end of the day, if that's the end of the day, does morning start right there, or is there 12 hours after that? That's 12 hours after that, ain't it? So y'all, once you start to get into where is the consistency at, and when you're praying in the fourth watch of the night, Messiah always prayed in the fourth watch of the night. The third watch of the night, Satan come to you. It's always between 2 a.m. in the morning and 3 a.m. You're going to get a visit supernaturally. The phone may ring and you look up, it's between 2 and 3 o'clock. It's that watch in the night. Y'all, there's a night that's called morning. That's where you get strength and rested to get your supernatural going, to get ready. There's no work you can do at night. Understand what it's saying. While you're in the grave, when you get up, you manifest what you slept about. Every man's day starts with him doing like this, of what happened in them dreams the night before. It's going to make or break the following day. Pharaoh couldn't move. He didn't have a dream in the middle of the daytime, did he? Every time Pharaoh said, I dreamed at night this was going to happen to me. And he come and tell him what's going to happen in the night, y'all. But see, we're not taught that we need to be under these instructions in our dream. You just can't free willy dream. You can't be running naked as a grown man in a daycare in your dream. You cannot do it. You just can't feel free in your dream, because it's laws. If laws tell you you can't have a wet dream, well, it tells you if you have a wet dream, this is what you have to go do. What causes a wet dream? It comes from up here, don't it? Sleep at night. An activity take place that you couldn't do if you was woke. What happened with a wet dream at night? You laying like this, sleep. Ain't nothing moving. Ain't nobody rubbing. Ain't no friction. Boom. Try it now while you woke. Just see if you can command your mind.
Don't you do that?
What you say? When you get home, boy. So what we're talking about is in the supernatural, you cannot sin. That's where your soul is. You allow your soul to sin. It's where you go into what they call astral, what do they call that? Projection. That means an out-of-body experience. Paul had one. You'll go up, but if you hear somebody saying, I went to heaven, I was dead, and I came back. No, you wasn't. You wasn't dead.
But see, there's a difference between the astral projection that the Bible speaks of and the astral projection that, you know, like the Egyptians and stuff like that.
Two different things.
Yeah.
One is seeking counsel from the universe. The other is getting wisdom instruction. That prophecy is going to go down and it's revealing something that you can reveal to the people to warn them. At this day, at this time, at this hour, this is what's getting ready to happen. Astral plane and you just flying around. Then I saw myself and now you back in your body. What now? What do we do now? Like Peter on the rooftop fell into a trance. That was midday. But it say a trance with his eyes wide open like we read earlier. When David was talking about falling into a trance with your eyes wide open. That's called daydream. A lot of young men used to do it sitting in school, one paying attention until the teacher called. Right? Then you snap out of it. Come on up to the board and do what? I was in outer space. Well, do what at the board? So Peter had a vision at the 9th hour. It say he fell into a trance and saw 3 sheets lorn, animals on it. First thing Peter rise, kill me. He said that ain't what Leviticus 11 and Deuteronomy 14 say. Did he go into anything else? He said that's not what the law say. Ain't nothing ever unclean came into my mouth. That's unlawful food on that. And he's in a trance, so he's learning the law while he's out, ain't he?
Got a question on it.
Peter said, rise, kill, and eat anyway. And after this done 3 times, then the vessel went up. And it said, while Peter still doubted the vision, then the 3 men came to the door and it was Cornelius. He get to verse 20, he like, oh, no, the Lord told me not to call any man common and unclean. Right. But them hog sandwiches and ham hock help are still off the list. We can't have it. Boy, look here. I got some photos of some things in this phone right here that you see. If you think we joking, what you got out there, 2x?
Y'all say it says question. I just doing the check. Is the planet Rahab the whole earth, or was it destroyed and now is the asteroid belt? Because I'm confused about the part talking about darkness of the earth.
Well, see, when we're talking about the galaxy, y'all, all of it, see, when Job is talking, we're talking about everything. Earth is in outer space. Let's get that straight so that we don't get confused about it. Earth is one of the planets in outer space. So when it hit, the asteroids hit, Satan was ruling certain planets. You know, Earth was possibly one that he was governing over, because there's artifacts here. That's what I'm saying. Where did those artifacts come from here? It was life here, something on it, but the Most High gives us bits and pieces about what took place. But he say they were completely wiped out. No man left alive. Jeremiah 4:23 say every man, everything was wiped out. All the birds, it was completely destroyed. So whatever happened with what Lucifer was, and it caused chaos here, he may have been a ruler of this planet as well, because he was a high-ranking cherub, a high ranker. So he may have had power over this or whatever it was, but it say he's coming down to you. And look, whatever planet exploded, it caused chaos on earth. So whichever angel was running earth at the time, or whatever was happening, they listened to Satan and it was destroyed. Earth lights were put out. Those planets still were there, they inhabited, they looking at them, they said, look, we can tell life was up here. We can peep enough at Mars and we can see some things that something once existed up here before. Yo, they ain't that crazy, they just can't go there. It's uninhabitable. It's where it's supposed to be, just like Sodom and Gomorrah, still a sand dust pit. Just like Egypt ain't never rising to power again, it still sits in the dust, don't it? Is anything they can do for Egypt right now? Egypt a world power now. Egypt is a tourist attraction. What else you got, bro?
Like you might be on something. Remember Genesis 1, it says the earth was void without form, and meaning without order.
Without order.
It was chaos.
Yeah.
Light may come to the fourth thing, the sun.
Right.
So it wasn't talking about the light of the world, it was talking about order.
Order. See,
the power was moving at the time. Everything like out of whack, you know what I'm saying? Well, no form, no. So the Most High come in and bring order, and that's why he put Adam on earth to maintain that order.
Yeah.
You know
Y'all, it's some stuff y'all get into the city of Atlantis, and you'll see a lot of other things surrounding that and where that took place at. Y'all, it ain't called a Bermuda Triangle for nothing. Once you start digging into these things of what's happening in below and longitude and latitudes and where certain things just disappeared. We seen that ship come here and then it got to the Bermuda Triangle, inside of this triangle, and it disappeared. We ain't seen it no more. Could it be a portal underwater? You never see these things again. And we know they existed. Go ahead, what you got in?
Theo, when you read that Genesis 1, it's two words in there when you look up them words, total and bold.
Yes, sir.
And then when you go to Isaiah 45 in verse 18, he tells you, I don't create that. I create things to be inhabited.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it lets you know that you was coming out of destruction.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And while we in there, we still in that Job 38. Give me 38, 1 and 2. What you got, Michael? Read 38, 1 and 2 of Job real quick. Go ahead, Michael. What you got?
That rock that they be kissing that nigga, is that?
That's a meteorite. It's a meteorite, the cobblestone in Mecca that they march around. Y'all see, if they march around, y'all, if you look at them millions of people walking around, it almost looks like that stone is moving. You know, or they trying to lift it up, but they got it up under there. It's only that big. It's that little part right here that looks like it's in a like it's an ATM machine right there. It's just that's the only part of the meter right there. That cube that they built around it just houses it. It's just that little, if y'all look at that little piece right there, no, it ain't that big old, no, it ain't been chiseled into a square. It's that little meteorite. You'll see like a little open door right there.
That's the cobblestone?
That's that meteorite that they're worshiping. They're worshiping a piece of a meteor, and they walk around this building 7 times. The only time we marched around anything was to destroy it, like Jericho. When we knocked them walls down. We ain't marching around for nothing to come out of there, sparks fly out of there. We were never told to worship the Ark of the Covenant. We were told the law is in there. It's sacred because the law is there. But there ain't no instruction, thou shalt bow down before the Ark of the Covenant. What you got, bro? You were saying something?
No, brothers.
Okay, what you got, Michael?
No, I just thought it was a piece of people, that rock they be kissing.
It could be pieces of, we don't know when it got here, how it got here, but it could be just parts left of Rahab. Still flying, them meteorites still here. That's what caused the Grand Canyon, where it's at. A meteorite hit. They say that's what killed all the dinosaurs. It plunged it into Kelvin temperature, absolute zero. If you looked that temperature up, it means absolutely zero. No molecules moving enough. Absolute zero cold. The ice age, boom, froze them out immediately. Just like in Pompeii, when that volcano erupted, it still got people like this. People was dancing. They still like this. Shooting dice is something.
And they found it hundreds of 1,000-year-old what they call woolly mammoths and stuff like that. Frozen solid, still fully intact.
In time, frozen in time, frozen solid. Everything complete, y'all. They're extracting DNA from them now.
And then talking about how to bring, look, they doing gene splicing too.
Right now, with common elephants to see if we can get it back to the days of Noah. Yeah. Pretty soon we're going to see some circus acts. Now y'all in Union Station, the 30-foot elephant. Behemoth, y'all, they may name it anything down there. Come and see it. But all y'all have to do is look now, Google right now, a liger, L-I-G-E-R. Where they mixing a tiger and a lion together. And the head on it is this big. The body of it is wide as that pillar right there.
But it's sterile.
But it's sterile, it can't reproduce.
They say it weighed like 1,500 pounds.
Boy, look here.
But see, that's a donkey and a horse make a mule, right?
Donkey and a horse make a mule, an ass and a mare.
Sterile.
But a mule can't reproduce, but they good for work. Just work them like a mule. That's when they say working you like a mule. Look, they don't say no mule gonna get no offspring. No. This is what they say. Mule, it die, get another.
Yep.
A Negro, he died, get another. That's why they call us mules. Get another. Don't worry about him. Don't put no shade over him. If he died, there's 2 more that's willing to take his place. Wasn't no fat slaves, y'all. Y'all ever seen pictures of fat slaves? Where? Except for in the kitchen. Yo, how do you think they live 80 and 90 years like that eating swine meat? Cooking it on an open flame. and hit in them fields for 12 hours a day. You're going to sweat all them toxins out. And then when you get home, they give you some more scraps from the table. Can you imagine what you leave at a restaurant? Y'all, we would put on a napkin for that. You just biting on the corner of the car, blood on it, and some more stuff you just throw down there. That was meal for the night. 3 of us have split that. Talking about what you would have done back in them days. You had 400 years to live to get through it to see the other side. Because that's how long the sentence was. You kill this master, you got this many more masters for 300 more years to kill. Where we at, y'all? Let's get caught up because it's 4:19, y'all, and we hitting like steel, and I ain't got nothing but a couple more scripts to go.
You want to put Job 38?
I want that 38:1 so we can see, like bro was talking about bohu and tohu, the Hebrew words, meaning to be completely destroyed. The same thing in in Jeremiah 4:23, when Jeremiah was telling Israel that he'll destroy you like he did the world before us. He said he'll make it bohu and tohu, where there was no man left alive. We know it got off the ark, right? Yeah.
Don't forget about that Ezekiel 31.
Yeah, make sure, let's hit that now, y'all, and then we'll hit that Job 38:1. So because we're talking about comparison of heavenly things to individuals.
So Ezekiel then Job.
Yeah, Ezekiel then Job. Ezekiel 38:1, and just read a couple of them verses that we'll just get some understanding of how trees are to be looked at, because people think that those were literal trees in the garden. Or those literal trees in Matthew when Christ said you should know a tree by its fruit. Do you think that you can go out to Grant's Farm and just look at an apple tree? Ooh, look at that fruit right there. That tree ain't right. How you know, brother? Them apples just don't look right to me. No, that ain't the fruit it's talking about. It's talking about the knowledge that's coming forward. You're going to know the tree and the fruit that it bears. Y'all, we can't mistakenly be devil worshipers. When we call somebody a warlock or a witch, it's because of the practices. And the Bible tells us what the practice is, what they're going to do. Because it tells us how to do its practices. It ain't a ritual in here that ain't described chapter, letter, and verse, is it? Don't it tell us how to do the Passover to the letter?
Yep.
Has it changed? Every feast day is to the letter up into the day. Christ ain't did none of them different. Paul didn't say nothing different. Then Acts 16, he doing the Passover. He said these are the days of unleavened bread. Yep. It's the same time, and it was Easter. Now the problem is there's another Easter of the goddess Astoria with bunny rabbits and eggs around the same time. Satan say, which one you gonna choose? That boring one that y'all do every year, or this one? See how much fun the kiddies have looking for eggs and then when they find them, you'll be eating them. They'll be farting of joy.
Farts of joy. Yeah. The stench of love.
Boy, look here. Where we at, bro?
Where you want to start at Ezekiel?
Just start at verse 1.
Ezekiel 31?
Yeah, 1.
Yeah.
Y'all, we're just talking about the trees, where you can understand when he was talking about it. 31:1. We're just going to read down to 10. And then y'all read the rest. But then I want to just get right into that Enoch 72, y'all, because it's very important about the sun and the moon and the stars. They say if we chase them, we're going to go wrong on time, and sin going to come into the earth, y'all. We're going to start picking these days wrong because we're only using part of the day. Anybody saying the day of Sabbath starting the day and don't account for the night work is a problem. Just like anybody saying the moon is to start the feast days and it creates the Sabbath, you're not talking about what the sun's job is or the stars. That's all we're saying. We're not saying, you dead wrong for the what we're saying. What is the other light's job concerning the day? That's what we ask. Or we're going to be left stuck. Go ahead. Where we at? 38:1.
Reading in the book of Ezekiel, chapter... You say 38?
No, I'm sorry, 31.
I'm finna say, man, I'm tripping. Let me.
That was Job 38. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 31, and verse 1. And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the 3rd month, in the 1st day of the month, that the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak unto Pharaoh king of Egypt, and to his multitude, whom art thou like in thy greatness?
Whom art thou like in thy greatness? See, we got a comparison. He told him to go to Pharaoh, but look what our prophets do. What did the first thing he do? Didn't he name the date and the month? He said, that's when y'all can double check when I got this vision, because that's what the script tells us. If you have a vision or gift from the Lord, write it down. Note it in a book, that it may be held as a witness against you. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar.
What was the Assyrian?
A cedar in Lebanon, with fair branches, and with a shadowing shroud, and of an high stature.
Of a what?
A high stature. And his top was among the thick boughs.
See, so it's telling you, behold, check the Assyrian out. He's like the cedar in Lebanon. Way up high, y'all. This is what his power is compared to. Go ahead.
Verse 4. The waters made him great. The deep set him up on high, with her rivers running round about his plants, and sent out her little rivers unto all the trees of the field. Therefore his height was exalted above all the trees of the field, and his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long because of the multitude of waters when he shot forth. All the fowls of heaven made their nest in his boughs, and under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young, and under his shadow dwelt all great nations. So you see how powerful the Assyrian was as compared to the cedar tree, but how the cedar tree provides shade for all animals, and a lot of owls rest up, squirrels make their home in there. So he's comparing to this. That's what Leviathan is compared, Satan is compared to Leviathan like that. Behemoth is compared to a man of the Most High like that. But it's comparing the things to so you can get a visual of what the power would consist of when you're talking about an individual. Because we can say, man, I'm telling you, he's a bad SOB. Unless you break it down what that is, you won't understand it. Man, he's like a cedar tree, man. You know that eagles and stuff can land on, man, and he puts shade over this, so that's what you explaining to people. Exactly.
So they can get some understanding. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 7.
What it say?
Thus was he fair in his greatness, in his length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. The cedars in the garden of Yah could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of Yah was like unto him in his beauty. I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of Yah envied him. Therefore, thus saith the Most High Yah, because thou hast lifted up thyself in height, and he has shot up his top among the thick boughs, and his heart is lifted up in his height. I have therefore delivered him into the hand of the mighty one of the heaven, of the heathen. He shall surely deal with him. I have driven him out for his wickedness. So when we're talking about him and in the garden, all the trees, look, Satan, what was Satan at? He was in the garden, wasn't he? Look, spectacular and bright, snuck up on Eve while Adam wasn't looking. Just like a man will sneak up on a man when he go to the bathroom, his woman left at the table at the club. Right. The serpent slip up, don't he? What you drinking? Water. Looks like your tongue reeks of Grey Goose or Hennessy Privilege. Would you like one of those? Y'all know the rest. So y'all, once y'all see that and y'all understand, let's read some more. What we finished 10? Yeah, we finished 11. Okay, y'all, but y'all read all of that and y'all see how that's compared, and the Most High put Satan down. Go to verse 18, hit that last verse. Verse 18. To whom art thou thus like in glory and in greatness among the trees of Eden? Yet shalt thou be brought down with the trees of Eden unto the nether parts of the earth. Thou shalt lie in the midst of the uncircumcised with them that be slain by the sword. This is Pharaoh and all his multitude, saith the Most High Yahweh.
So he's talking about Pharaoh with how he brought him out, and when the children of Israel was captured in Egypt. He tell you, I'm going to bring him out, I'm going to throw him down, and the water's going to swallow him up, him and all his multitude. So it's comparable, y'all, so that we get an understanding of what Pharaoh's power was, till it was broken. But when you get in the book of Jasher, Pharaoh never drowned. Pharaoh watched his army drown. He was standing on the shore like, boy, truly this must be the God of the heavens. So that the king will bow down, just like in Daniel 4th chapter, when Nebuchadnezzar was made a beast and eating grass and grew feathers on him like an eagle, until he bowed down and said, you the king of the universe. I done had enough of this grass eating, this grass stew and these grass popsicles and pies. I done had enough of it. Fingernails, y'all, was claws. And y'all don't think that it can happen. Y'all get one of y'all relatives, y'all leave them in an old folks home and go check on them. Go up there and see what their toenails look like. Boy, they be this damn long. Ain't been trimmed in a while. Especially if you ain't been up there to check on your loved ones. They ain't doing it.
Yep.
Y'all, let's finish this up. Y'all, we ain't got but a few minutes, so these are short chapters in the book of Enoch, chapter 72.
You're going to Job.
Going to Job 38:1. Look, I had my marker in there. Go ahead, bro. What it say? Just 38:1 and 2, and this just backs up what bro was saying about Bohu and Tohu. What happened when the earth was first created? The entire universe was created. What it say? 38:1 through 7. And y'all, all of what y'all reading out of Job is about the world before Adam and Eve. Job ain't talking about nothing inside of here. He's talking about Orion, Mazzaroth, Pleiades. He's talking about that world Job is talking about. And he gets clear when he's talking about the things that's compared to it that come from that other world. Because that's what he asked Job. He's like, Job, you crying about some different things. Let me tell you what's going on. Where was you when I laid the foundation of the heavens? When I stretched out that chalk line? Who informed you of any of this that was going on? Y'all, let's get that and move on, y'all, because I don't want to lose this. I want to get through that.
Koti Yafa, y'all say, that's so true. Once when she was in the world, a nigga trying to talk to her at the club when her husband went to the bathroom. That's what they do, man.
Boy, look here. He get back and you wobbling and smiling. He like, where this drink come from?
Right.
Boy, look here. It's gonna be trouble. So that means he been watching. See, Adam was in the garden. He just wasn't there by Eve. Because, well, man, it's either he wasn't right there or Adam is the biggest chump on planet Earth. Ever. If he let a man roll up and start macking his woman, and he follows suit with all three of them standing right there.
Right.
That ain't what the scriptures say. Adam was in the garden, but he wasn't right there. Serpent always comes when he ain't right there. That's how he makes his move. The woman told Adam what the deal was. Adam didn't say the serpent beguiled me too, and that nigga tricked me too.
Right.
I found out that wasn't even Grey Goose, that was R&R he put on me.
Couldn't tell you.
Right, you tripping.
Well, look, they in their innocence, bro. Go ahead, bro.
Job chapter 38, verse 1. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge?
Words without knowledge. Go ahead.
Gird up now thy loins like a man.
See, and loins is always surrounded by Israel, ain't it? Behemoth, chief of all the men, chief of all the animals of God. Chief of God. That's what and they keep talking about them loins, don't it? Where the power come from. The Most High is girded about his loins. Gird up thy loins with what? Truth. Your loins must be girded with truth so you don't fall into spiritual or carnal fornication. You got to put truth around here. Fringes ain't going to take care of this when you butt naked. Unless you got on a fringed thong. So you make sure you don't defile the marriage bed. You need a fringed thong on or what?
That's more fringe than thong.
Where we at, bro? Go ahead.
Verse 2.
Look, now if y'all watching them rockadoochies that's on, they have open showers for the men and the women, and you can see their breasts, but they're trying to control them sexually. You should be able to watch a woman take a bath. That ain't nowhere written. That's temptation. And we see all the temptation that happen. It's coronations out in the woods, in the back trailers, in the punishment trailers. Y'all fooling yourself to my baby, but that ain't in the scripture. David made that mistake. It say in a private place bathing. Private ain't open where you can look right in there, is it?
No.
And then they got outhouses down there, just like that boy down there. I think it's called name Dow, outhouses and stuff, and we're in the 2021.
Right. You got modern day plumbing, but y'all out there shitting in buckets.
Boy, look here.
Tripping.
It's a modern day bucket.
Ain't no flusher.
Modern
Come on, there
bucket.
need to be a flusher on that bucket, don't it?
Boy, in a bidet or something, man. You got to wash your...
Come on, man.
Boy, like you say, you ain't got to wash your whole A, but you got to wash your A-hole.
Boy, look, because that's what put the stain in there, don't it?
Oh, y'all crazy.
You miss a month, boy, that look like a footprint in the back of them clothes.
Can we get on stage, bro?
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Yes, sir, let's get it. Where we at? We finished at 38?
Verse 3 again.
What it say?
Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest? Or who has stretched the line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, all the sons of Yahweh shouted for joy. Or shut up the sea with the doors when I break forth, as if it had issued out of the womb.
So he said the morning stars sang for joy when the world was created, when the foundation was lowered. The sons of God or the angels shouted for joy. Ain't no joy shouting in Genesis 1:1. It's bohu and tohu. We just read in the second Enoch that Satan was thrown out on the second day. So they wasn't shouting for joy, that was war. So it's talking about a different time when the universe was laid out by the Almighty, the Ancient of Days, when he stretched the line across. He said, tell me how far the universe expanded. If these heathens tell you that this planet is 5 light years away, what does that do for you up here? I want you to think about it. The speed of light is 187,000 miles a second. That's how fast light travels. That's a second. Now we're talking about light years. If it's 187,000 miles a second, you got 60 seconds in a minute. So that's 187 times 60. That's how far a light minute is away. Let alone a light year.
Right.
Because you got 30 days, 31, 32 days, 30 days in a month, and then times 12. How far is a light, one light year, and yet let alone they telling you it's 5 light years away? What are you dreaming about, or what do you think? And boy, when we finally reach that destination of 5 light years away, you're gonna be somewhere else. No, y'all ain't no need being dismayed at the signs of heaven. And say don't be startled by it, because all it's doing is pointing to an event that's happening on earth. Where we at, bro? That's it on that. Or you can do verse 8.
I did verse 8.
Okay, well that's good then. So y'all read all of that 38 and y'all get a good understanding of what he asked. Get down to 31 and 31. Hit that right quick. Or that same Job, 31, 31.
38, 31.
38, 31, I'm sorry.
That's why I was like, huh?
Yeah.
I got
The
it.
same, but you called it.
I was just seeing was you paying attention. Go ahead.
38, 31. Canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion?
And when you get into Amos 5 and 8, you see the same thing that is talking about beyond the heavens. What we're talking about is Orion and Pleiades. This, y'all, is talking about all of the universe. The whole host of heaven is out there. Say, can you bind them? Can you lock them down? Can you keep them from moving? Can you stick a flag in them? Where we at?
Where you going?
Go.
You finished that?
Enoch 72.
No, I want you to bring 32 too.
Okay. Canst thou bring forth Mizrath in his seed?
Maseroth, and when you look that up, what is Maseroth? Somebody look that up real quick. And Arcturus too. Y'all look both them up real quick, and then keep on reading, bro.
Canst thou bring forth Maseroth in his seed? Or canst thou guide Arcturus with his seed, with his son? Knowest thou the ordinances of heaven?
Knowest thou the ordinances of heaven? You got instruction on all of these. Go ahead.
Canst thou set the dominion thereof in the earth? Canst thou lift up thy voice to the clouds?
See, so we can continue to go on with that of what he's asking, but these names are what's called the zodiac, or the divisions of the heavens, the sign. But never once, ever are we told to worship them, to bow down to them. They're what they are, for signs, for seasons, and like bro just read, for births, timely births coming in the earth. That's what those things for. They run across the sky, across the universe, and stop and hold a spot. And the wise men and the conjurers know what this means. When they study, they say it's about to be some birth on this earth that's going to change the atmosphere. Yo, let's finish this up. We read Jubilees 6:29 to the end. Want y'all to revisit that. Jubilees chapter 6, verse 29 to the end is going to tell you some things about what completes a complete year, 365 days. So you got to ask, if the moon controls the Sabbath, as well as all the feast days, then y'all, we got to reconstruct everything. If the new year starts, if this ain't 2021, then when does 2021 start? This is the question we have to answer. Not saying we know nothing dead this wintertime, no new life start in the wintertime. But if your birthday's in January, you're just now the year you think you were last year. Because if the new year started in March, January and February is the end of that following year then, ain't it? So if you just had a birthday January the 5th, you the age you were last year then. If you're going to push new year to March, or is it 2021? One of the two for January and February birthdays. You either got to wait to this time next year to be the age you think you are now. You're a year behind. It's the only way you can have it, right? So what that's going to do for us? Some of us here don't even know how old we is. Damn, you find out, hell, I was 16 in 8th grade then. Where we at?
Mizrath is, in the sense of distinction, some noted constellation.
What is it?
Some noted constellation.
Okay.
The 12 signs of the zodiac and their 36 associated constellations.
So they're in the heavens, but we're told not to play with them because it's abomination, y'all. But we're going to hit this and close on out. Let's get these Enoch real quick, y'all. You had the other one, Arcturus. If not, we're going to keep moving. Also in y'all homework, y'all had Enoch 18 and 19, which we ain't going to mess with. But 19 talk about those female angels that fell, because anybody asked, were there female angels up in the heavens? Enoch 19 say that they were turned to sirens, or what's called a siren, S-I-R-E-N-S. Look that up in the Holy Scriptures and see what it means.
This first Enoch and second Enoch.
We're going to first Enoch. chapter 72, but we're going to skip through it. But we need to get through some of those portals and chambers to clear up when is the new moon. When does that start, the moon?
Arcturus is H5906, Aish, and it's a constellation.
A what?
A constellation.
See, y'all, so when it's saying constellation, it's talking about the hosts of heaven.
Constellation of the Great Bear.
Of the Great Bear. They name that after a planet. You got, they name them Big Dipper, Little Dipper, North Star, whatever you want to call it. The Most High say don't worship them. Under no circumstances, do not worship. They are here to serve you, not you to serve them. Y'all, did we read Joshua? Are we there yet? Everybody in 72 yet? Because we talked about Joshua stopping, asked for time to be stopped. You look in Joshua chapter 10, verse 12 and 13. Yeah, when the sun stood still by command of the Lord. Real quick, y'all, Josh, can you hit that real quick? Y'all still trying to find that Enoch 72? While y'all finding that, give me Isaiah 38, 7 and 8.
Enoch 1 or Enoch 2?
Enoch 1. And give me Isaiah, give me that real quick while we're in here. Isaiah 38, 7 and 8. And then give me the Joshua 10, 13. Because they going to compare. Look, the book of Jasher say, reference in Joshua 10, 13. 2 Samuel 1, 18 and 2 Timothy 3 and 8. Where it tells you, study out of the book of Jasher. And tells you, out of the Apocrypha say the same thing. The writings out of the Bible, all of them match up. Everything matches up. This just go into day-to-day detail. This go into year-to-year detail, where the Bible is a summary. It's going into hundreds of years, thousands of years, and getting to the end. But this filling all the blanks for you. Where we at real quick on that? You got that, Ed?
Isaiah 38 and what?
7 and 8.
7 and 8.
What'd it say?
Isaiah chapter 30 verse 7.
38. 7 and 8.
Isaiah chapter 38 verse 7. And this shall be a sign unto thee from the Lord, that the Lord will do this thing that he hath spoken. Behold, I will bring again the shadow of the degrees, which is gone down in the sundial of Ahab, 10 degrees backward. So the sun returned 10 degrees, by which degrees it was gone down.
So the sun backed up 10 degrees, y'all. 360 degrees, right? So the sun backed up and held its peace. What else say? Is that it on there?
Yeah, this is.
Okay, now back that up with that Jasher, real quick, 10, 12, and 13. What that say? Real quick, so we get that understanding that it matches up, and we'll see Joshua had an experience where he was warned. I need a little bit more daylight, Lord. The sun take command. But we ain't ever worship the sun. Go ahead.
Joshua chapter 10.
Yeah, 12 and 13.
Verse 12. Then spake Joshua to the Lord in the day when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of all of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon.
What'd he say?
Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon. And thou moon in the valley of, how you pronounce that? Ajalon.
Yeah.
And the sun stood still and the moon stayed until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher?
What is it not written where?
In the book of Jasher. So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven and hasted not to go down about a whole day. And there was no day like that before it or after it, that the Lord hearkened unto the voice of a man. For the Lord fought for Israel.
For the Lord did what?
Fought for Israel.
It ain't been a day like that. The Lord will fight for you. When you ask him something, you like, Lord, look, we doing your business. Stop. I need the sun to hold up because we can't let it go down. Were there prophets after John? Yeah, you see the prophetess Anna, his daughter Anna were prophetess, but they were not prophesying. The prophets were until John talking about the Messiah coming. Everything else presseth into the kingdom. Any prophets after John is only recording or repeating to you what's happening in the book of Revelations, the second coming. They're not talking about nothing new. Ain't no new prophet. John said, this is the Messiah. I'm going to introduce him to the world, and this is what the deal is. Every other prophet after that, ain't nobody else talking about. You can't bring in a new Messiah. You can't bring in a new prophet. What are you talking about? Talking about he making new prophets. It's all about the second coming. That's what it's about. Anna and them didn't do that. They prophesied about Paul. Paul, look, you got to be put in a basket and let down. They trying to kill you about spreading the gospel of Christ. Not about no new stuff. What the hell we care about some new prophet coming to town? What does he got to say? What prophecy is he going to give us unless we in danger? Be wary, y'all. They're coming for y'all about the word of the Most High. Telling you, here come another man. Supposed to be Christ. Get out of here. Where we at? Real quick, y'all. How much time we got?
49.
We got it good. Let's get right into the heart of it. Let's get right to 73 of that Enoch. Whoever got it.
You said 73?
Yeah, chapter.
All right,
Enoch 1, yeah.
First Enoch chapter 73, verse 1. After I saw this set of regulations for the sun, I saw another set of regulations concerning the minor luminary, whose name is moon.
Is what?
Moon.
See, so it's telling you I had rules for this, that I learned all the rules about the sun. Now I got to learn all the rules about the moon. Y'all, and this is just so we won't get caught up. Ain't saying it ain't no lunar calendar. What we're saying is don't leave the sun out. Go ahead, bro.
Its roundness is like the roundness of the sky, and the wind drives the chariot on which it rides, and it is given light in varying measure. It's coming out and it's going in change every month.
Change every what?
Month.
See, that'd be a problem for the Sabbath. The Sabbath is a set, established day. Go ahead.
Its days are like the days of the sun, and when its light becomes evenly distributed, then it amounts to 1/7 of the light of the sun.
Only 1/7 of the light of the sun is when the moon is full. Just 1/7 of it.
It's called a minor luminary.
A minor luminary. Go ahead.
The moon rises in, it rises in this manner. Its head faces the easterly direction, coming out on the 13th day. On that day, that is on the 30th day, it comes into existence, and it appears with the sun and the gate through which the sun exits. And you have the beginning of the month, considering half of it to be divisible into 7 parts. The whole disk of it is without light, with the exception of 1/7 part of the 14th part of the light of the sun.
See, when it's starting to talk about 14 parts and it only have a 7th part of the sun, it says the moon basically don't have any light. The sun wasn't there, it says so, but it keeps talking about 14 parts. There's 14 parts at the beginning of the new moon till the 15th day. And then the 15th day, then you got 14 parts that go back down to the end. Is Uriah moon?
That moon chart, I think he's making a new one.
He's making a new one. But anyway, like thumbnails. If you look at your thumbnail, if you hold your right thumb out like this, your thumbnail go this way. And then if you do it like this or put your left thumb up, the thumbnail go this way. 1/2 is the 14 days that it goes all the way back down because it gets the full moon and then it starts to go back down to nothing. You see the crescent, the crescent, the crescent. Or you see the same way on this side when it's beginning, it goes this way. So if you're lost in the woods, you ain't got to worry about no Gregorian or moon calendar or none of them. If you lost, you do this. If that curve of the moon is like this, you know what side you are on the month. You're in the beginning of the month. If you do this and you see that curve like that, you're on the second half. You like, I'm at the half end of the month. Because the Most High say, if there's no paperwork on earth, them ordinances know what they supposed to do, so you stay on point.
That's right.
You don't need no calendar. Technically, you don't, because they are the calendar. What else to say, brother?
It says 1/7 of its half light. On the day when it receives 1/7 part of its half light, as the sun sets, it becomes equivalent to 1/7 light of 1/2 of it.
What verse you on? I don't know. Okay.
Oh, it look like verse 7. Yeah, like verse 7.
Okay, go ahead.
Then when the sun rises, the moon rises together with it, taking a portion of 1/2 of its light. That night, the moon, just beginning its monthly journey on its first lunar day, sets with the sun and becomes dark in respect to its 13 parts that night. On that day, it rises and shines with exactly 1/7 part of its semicircle. Then it comes out and recedes toward the east, away from where the sun rises, continuing to be brighter and 1/6 of 1/7 of 1/2 of the light of the sun during the remaining days.
See, so y'all, so you don't get it twisted, what it's doing is telling you that's why the sun is always considered like the father in the home and the moon as the mother. It's showing who the head of the household is. And something like when Joseph had the dream, he said the sun and the moon and the stars bowed to me. They interpreted and knew what it right was. So you saying me, mama, and us gonna bow to you. He like, look, that's what the interpretation of the dream is. That's what the father said. And it happened because they ended up going to Egypt and all of them bowed before Joseph.
Yep.
So we see that there's a comparison, but it's telling you what light rules, just like Genesis said, the greater light rules today. Didn't it?
Yep.
So y'all, we just don't want the sun to be left out. It has to be accounted for. Go ahead, what else to say?
Chapter 74.
Uh-huh.
Furthermore, I saw another system of rotation with its own regulation, whereby the system fulfills its monthly course of movement. All these things, including their fixed position, Uriel, the holy angel, who is the God of them all of them, showed to me. And I wrote down their fixed positions as he showed them to me. And I wrote down their months as they were, as well as the variable aspects of their illumination until the completion of 15 days.
Of how many days?
15 days.
Uh-huh.
The moon wanes in 15 steps during a period of 15 days and waxes in 14 steps in the east and the west respectively. In certain designated months, it alters its westerly settings, and in certain designated months, it fulfills its unusual courses of movement. For 2 months, the moon sets with the sun and uses those two middle openings, which are the third and the fourth gate. It comes out for 7 days and completes the circuit as it returns again to the gate through which the sun rises. In this manner it waxes and recedes from the sun.
What it do?
Waxes and recedes from the sun.
Uh-huh.
Entering the 6th gate through which the sun rises in 8 days. When the sun rises through the 4th gate, the moon comes out for 7 days until it starts coming out through the 5th. It then turns back toward the 4th gate in 7 days, waxing as it recedes.
What verse you in?
8,
verse
9.
8.
Okay, go ahead.
And enters the 1st gate in 8 days. Then again it returns to the 4th gate through which the sun rises in 7 days. This is how I saw their fixed position, how the moon rises and shines when the sun sets in those days. If 5 years are combined, the sun gains 30 extra days.
Uh-huh.
Consequently, one of those days, what'd you say?
You say consequently,
One of those
5
days,
years.
5 years gains and when it is completed, it turns out to be 364 days. The gain of the sun and the stars turns out to be 6 days. And 5 years, 6 days, every year add up to 30 days. And the moon falls behind the sun and the stars.
And the what?
And the stars. 30 days. They bring about all the years, how you pronounce it?
Punctiliously.
Punctiliously.
Yeah, listen to him.
So that they forever neither gain upon nor fall behind their fixed positions for a single day. But they convert the year with
punctilious justice.
Right. Into 364 days. In 3 years, there are 1,092 days, and in 5 years, 1,820 days. So that in 8 years, there are 2,912 days. For the moon singly in 3 years, its days add up to 1,030 days. So that it falls behind by 62 days in 3 years.
See, so now we got a problem with the sun having more days than the moon. How is that possible if they're divided by 12? You know what I'm saying? 24 divided by each get 12 hours. How is it 30 days behind now? What's going on? And the sun is still accruing. But when the moon start calculating its days again, it still got to equal up to the sun 364 days. If the moon is the calendar only, you can't get that 364 days out of a calendar year just by the moon. The best you're gonna come 354, 360, but you ain't gonna never get 364.5. And when the sun stood still for Joshua, and also them few 10 degrees for Hezekiah, look at what NASA's saying. NASA say we lost this much time in the luminaries when we're counting time. This much time. And when they say the number of hours and minutes that is cut off, it's going to equal up exactly what Joshua was saying. And Hezekiah going back 10 degrees. What you got, bro?
That's why they really get that leap year from them.
They have to have a leap year to make things, that's every 4 years to try to catch it back up. That's why if you continue to go by the lunar calendar, what's going to happen is you're going to end up doing the Passover in December or January. It's going to be virtually impossible to get the day of Pentecost, 7 complete Sabbaths. Because you ain't going to come up with the days. You're either going to go over 50 days or you're going to be at 36 days. That's the problem, man. Where we at? Verse what? I want you, when you finish that, just skip down to 78 and run it out. We're going to close out.
All right, it says, in 5 years, they added in 5 years. Thus it is for the moon. In 8 years, the days add up to 2,832 days, so that it falls behind by 8 days in 8 years. In this way, the years are completed with precision.
So now what we have to do is recalculate everything from a solar calendar back to a lunar calendar. We have to go back. So technically, with the time going back, we may be 4 years younger than we think, or 4 years older. Right now, it's confusion right now if we got that calendar. We don't know. Right now, if you born in January, right now, you born your birthday tomorrow, you just gonna be the age you were supposed to be in 2020. If you 37, like Ezra just turned 30. He's just 30, this 2020 still. If the new year starts in March or April, this still 2020. You 30, 2020, you won't be, you 29, well you just turned 30. You won't be 31 until next year, 2022 that they call it. Because if the year starts in March, January and February, it's the end of that solar year. Y'all going shalom, bro. Y'all be careful out there. Watch them thieves like to get in your car when you go in there with the car still running. Watch them. It's cold out here. That's when they do their best work. When you just take that chance and say, I'm just gonna run in here and get these Funyuns and 2 Chico sticks and I'm gonna run back out. Too late.
1 Chico stick, too many.
Too many. Where we at? Go ahead, bro. Let's run this on out.
In accordance with their fixed positions in the universe.
In the what?
Shabbat shalom, Mike.
Shabbat shalom, Mike.
And the fixed stations of the sun which shine, the gate through which the sun rises and sets for 30 days.
So we'll skip down. Let's do 79 and 80, y'all. For time's sake, y'all read the rest of that in between and you'll understand those portals when it say, and when it reaches its light is full. That's the full moon. That's not, you know, some people saying the full moon is the new moon. What do you do about the 14 days before and the moon waning the 14 days behind? This is stuck in the middle straight up. All of those days aren't dark. Those 14, that's why it's counting in 14. And when it say it's full, that's the full moon. The new moon is totally different. It say when you see the first sliver of light, know it's like that. And the first sliver of light is usually what's called twilight, that separates night from day. It separates night from day. It's that little space of light, like in Genesis 1 and 1, 1 and 1 and 1 and 2, because the sun and moon weren't created to the 4th day. That light is between the sun and the moon. And that starts when you see that first sliver. Shemanu Yah call us, he say, the moon been sighted over in Jerusalem. It's still 8 hours ahead of us. We won't see the waning end. But guess what? Before that moon gets one complete circle, the moon would have went over every nation and city in the world before it comes back to Jerusalem and starts the next day. You can't be already in the day 2 and we still waiting behind. Then that throws us off on the feast day. We can still get inside that 24 hours, even if they 8 hours ahead, we still in there. We just in the west. Where we at, bro? Where you at now?
First Enoch chapter 79.
Yeah, go there. We're gonna run 79 and 80, y'all. We're gonna close out. They short chapter.
It says, thus now, my son, I have revealed to you everything. So the rules concerning all the stars of heaven are concluded here.
The rules or the laws, go ahead.
Indeed, he showed me all their respective rules for every day, for every season, and for every year. The procession of each one according to the commandment, every month and every week. He showed me the total decrement, that is doing a half lunar year of the moon, which it makes from the 1st through the 6th gate. For after the light of this 6th gate is disposed of at the end of the series of the 6 gates, the beginning of the decrement, that is during the other half lunar year, which it makes in returning, and the first gate takes place in its own season until 177 days are fulfilled. Following the rule of counting weeks, 25 weeks and 2 days. The moon falls behind the sun according to the order of the stars, exactly 5 days during one period. That is 1/2 year. And when the place which you behold has been traversed, such is the appearance and the picture of all the luminaries which Uriel, the archangel, who is their leader, showed unto me.
See, Ariel is the leader of all those luminaries. Uriel, I'm sorry. It's just like Satan was in charge of all the luminaries, which included planet Earth. He had charge of the luminaries, y'all. He was an archangel just like Uriel, just like Raphael, just like Michael. Go ahead.
It says chapter 8. In those days, the angel Uriel responded and said to me, behold, I have shown you everything. I have showed you some of the things up here. Everything. So why would we listen to anybody else coming with some new doctrine like they're a new prophet? You ain't talking about nothing new about the second coming of Messiah. Right. These new prophets start talking about themselves, and I had a prophecy about this, and we ought to run up into these mountains. That ain't written nowhere.
Jermaine Grant calling himself the Holy Spirit, talking about he went back to Mount Sinai and ain't got a passport. And what the hell is you doing in Mount Sinai anyway?
Right.
You going backwards. Go ahead, bro.
It says, and I have revealed everything to you so that you might see this sun, this moon, and those that guide the stars of heaven, as well as all those who interchange their activities and their seasons and rotate their processions. In respect to their days, the sinners and the winter are cut short.
Now, notice it said rotate their days. It's talking about adjustment of days. You're rotating days. It didn't say nothing about rotating around the earth. We keep hearing the word rise and set. Rise and set. The rising of the moon. The setting of the sun. Rise and set. Only thing rotating is the order of things. Go ahead, it's your turn, like priests rotate. Like you get in a rotation, you know what I mean? But rising and set, two things. Go ahead, bro. Let's finish this off and close out.
Their seed shall lag behind in their lands and in their fertile fields and in all their activities upon the earth. He will turn and appear in their time and withhold rain, and the sky shall stand still at that time. Then the vegetable shall slacken and not grow in its season.
Uh-oh, what that's going to do about the vegetarian? You talking about don't eat no chicken, look like ain't nothing going to be growing for you? See, the kingdom of heaven ain't about food, eat meats and drinks.
Right.
You can't eat your way out of sinning.
Nah.
You can't bite on an apple and it's going to cure your problem with crawling in a man's back window. I don't care what you, how many grapes you rub or rub some fabulous crystal, twix your rear end. If you a thief, you just gonna be stealing with all that stuff in your pocket and stuck in your rear end. Nothing stops sinning but keeping the commandments.
That's right.
What is he talking about?
Whether you eat chicken or no. What you got, bro?
I'm just saying, is he talking about the sun and the moon not doing what they're supposed
Yes,
to do?
sir, because of sin and these the last days. The sun and the moon should be darkened. It's tightening it up, but it's got to do with sin. Sin in the world brings about the second coming, the third coming. Go ahead, bro.
It says the moon shall alter its order and will not be seen according to its normal cycle.
So what we gonna do about the Sabbath day then? If the lunar calendar keeps the Sabbath, you can't see the moon. What we gonna do? Who gonna fight it? What we do about our Sabbath day? You ain't gonna see these things about the sun. Go ahead, bro.
In those days it will appear in the sky, and it shall arrive in the evening in the extreme ends of the great lunar path in the west. It shall shine more brightly, exceeding the normal degree of light. Many of the chiefs of the stars shall make errors in respect to the orders given to them. They shall change their courses and functions, and not appear during the seasons which have been prescribed for them. All the orders of the stars shall harden in disposition against the sinners and the conscience of those that dwell upon the earth.
See, you see what's tied to this sun and moon getting out of line? Sinners. On what's happening where? On earth. You're altering the life. They can't even work, we sinning so much. Go ahead, bro.
They, the stars, shall err against them, the sinners, and modify all their courses. Then they, the sinners, shall err and take them, the stars, to be God.
To be what?
God.
See, that's where we at right now. Men are traveling out of space right now and claiming they are great gods right now to this day. Today. Go ahead.
And evil things shall be multiplied upon them, and plagues shall come upon them, so as to destroy all.
Plagues gonna come on them to destroy everybody, y'all. If that sun and moon worship take over, y'all, we hope that explains some things. But like I say, y'all get into 1 Enoch chapter 22 is gonna talk about them 7 planets again. Chapter 18 and 19 of that Enoch talks about female angels. If you have a word where they're female angels or they're female angels. When they asked who wife this woman gonna be for she had 7 husbands, he said, no, they're gonna be like the angels of heaven. They shall be brother and sister. What does that mean? Man, that mean there's some female angels up there then, ain't it?
Yep.
Been up there, but they're just not mentioned consistently like women are not mentioned in the Bible consistently. But there's sirens out there, y'all. We need to find out why there's in the scripture. Also, there's things in the Bible called unicorns. Where y'all think unicorns come from? A horn in the head in the middle of a horse. What they saying out there 2 by 4 we close out?
Excellent lesson.
Yes, sir.
Close out with the 97.
Anybody got any questions out there 2 by?
You just asked that.
Huh? Did I just ask that? Huh?
Don't worry about that. You all right, bro. Don't let him bother you.
Don't let it bother me there.
Just that sometime was speaking.
That's what it is. Ain't all the time as yet, but
Become more time.
Sister Boy, yeah, they say it's becoming more oftentimes. But y'all, hope that brought some understanding, y'all. Don't be concerned what's out of space, y'all. We got trouble right here on Earth. Y'all, in a couple days when they go to put Joe Biden in there, man, do y'all know they found pipe bombs and everything and different things like that? Boy, these heathens shook. Y'all, and they ready to go to war and say, take this country back. Y'all know what that means for us. Because what does that mean for us? Where was we at when they was in there? Boy, look here. Here, get ready for one pair of britches for the next 15 years.
Oh, man. That's terrible. I need to give you some shoes for you.
Boy, look here.
You gonna have them a while.
Boy, you got some boots when you was in the 8th grade. They sandals now by the time you get to high school. But everybody up here, you got to cut the toe out.
And the heel.
Go ahead, bro.
All right, family, we're going to get this closed in prayer with the Most High's permission. In the name of His only begotten Son, our Lord and Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach. And y'all know we call him Jesus the Christ, family. Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 97th chapter it reads, the Most High reigneth, let the earth rejoice. Let the multitude of isles be glad thereof.
Yes, sir.
Clouds and darkness are round about him. Righteousness and judgment are the habitation of his throne. A fire goeth before him, and burneth up his enemies round about. His lightnings enlighten the world. The earth saw and trembled. The hills melted like wax at the presence of the Most High.
Yes, sir.
At the presence of Yahweh of the whole world. The heavens declare his righteousness, and all the people see his glory. Confounded be all they that serve graven images, that boast themselves of idols. Worship him, all ye gods. Zion heard and was glad, and the daughters of Judah rejoiced because of thy judgments, O Yahweh. For thou, Yahweh, art right high above all the earth. Thou art exalted far above all gods.
Yes, sir.
Ye that love the Most High, hate evil. He preserveth the souls of his saints. He delivereth them out of the hand of the wicked. Light is sown for the righteous, and gladness for the upright in heart. Rejoice in the Most High, ye righteous, and give thanks at the remembrance of his holiness. Hallelujah! Say
I got a shepherd to y'all. We greatly appreciate it. Want to thank all y'all personally that continue to contribute to the ministry, y'all. We're going to try to keep it going, and we're able to do that with y'all support. So thank y'all very much. Y'all know who y'all are. Too many of y'all that even start to try to name, but I'm going to send a shout out every now and then, you know, just to let y'all know that we are much appreciative of what y'all do for us. suit. God. I'm just about one of them small ready buddies. Oh, you want to flame out so that they can get, we used to have it down on page and tell, but sit it right there and then it'll blow. You know, it's comfortable, but you know, that'll cover more space with one tank. You have to always look at it. Technically, we should have put that other up on that side. Yeah, be careful out there, bro.
Hey, boy, I like that. What, you delivering that Winnebago?
Yeah, I'm taking that to the middle of nowhere, Arizona.
That's a nice one, though. I sure was looking at it coming in. I was like, boy, that's a nice Winnebago.
Boy, you can sleep up in there, boy.
Hey, I can do that.
Yeah, you keep up there somewhere, but I don't like to, for my big feet. That cab ain't for the day 450.
That's what I definitely say. Yeah, just a pickup truck in the
Just a
front.
pickup truck in the front.
Yeah.
We should have done for your son.
Yeah.
Yeah.